I updated my logo, I updated the title of my stream, I told Twitter about it, and I told something else about it. All right, here we go. What is Commentator Idol? Well, back in my day, around 2008, possibly sooner, possibly later, there were the big four YouTube casters of foreign StarCraft: Diggity, SC, Moletrap, Classart SC, and Cholera SC. I think we could even look at, I'm very excited to see, alright? We could even see if they still exist. This. So back in the day, YouTube was a baby, and it was a big deal that there was like 8,000 subscribers watching StarCraft. I got 1,000 subscribers back in the day, and slowly I've been whittled down to like 666, which is a really weird number for my YouTube subscriptions. Oh well. Teddy Bear, don't feel bad. I'll tell the lore now. Okay, so these four were doing audio recordings over, recording audio commentary over VODs of Korean StarCraft, which was then, I think, only broadcast on TV. And it was almost impossible to get a live stream. Live streaming was not a thing. So the only way we could get this hot StarCraft action was to follow these guys and listen, and they were so entertaining. Cholera, Diggity, Moletrap, and Classart, super entertaining. The way that they use words, I was sucked in, and they are part of the reason why I got so into Brute War. Absolutely. I don't really think I would have picked it up otherwise. So yeah, through those big four, I got sucked into Korean pro gaming, and I fell in love with Jaedong and Bisu and Breach. But Jaedong is my bias because he plays Zerg, and I really like Zerg. Anyway, around that time, I wanted to. I actually started casting. The long story short is because I wanted to start a collegiate StarCraft league, and I reached out to the famous people in the scene. I was like, Cholera, help me seed the collegiate Star League. He was like, sure. And he was also like, you want to cast? And I was like, oh, I guess I could. And then I started to cast games. So let me show you the games I casted. We're not going to go through this yet. I don't think I have that many. So 12 years ago, God, I was a baby. I guess this is my first game. We made versus SK2GG, set 1, Pure versus Beasted. This was back in the day when you had to split your VOD into like 8-minute long things or 15-minute, I forget. God. We're not going to watch this quite yet. I think it's Cringe City. But just to set the stage, this is what I started to do. And I was very bad at StarCraft, mind you. But I thought, I could do it. Now, for those of you who don't know, though, there was this whole beef between Team Liquid and StarCraft2GG, and then also Team Liquid and these big forecasters. Because Team Liquid is full of elitists, and I say that with love. So, like, Team Liquid hated these casters. They were like, oh my god, like, SC2GG, I'm so sorry, Diggity, but Diggity knew. We were all there. And so I was a little bit hesitant to even participate because I knew I was bad, and yet I did it anyway. I think at the time I probably was thinking, I look up to Cholera, Classart, Diggity, and Moletrap. I want to try some casting too. Maybe it's okay I don't know that much StarCraft yet. It'd be really cool if a girl casted, right? Who the heck is Radio IGG? Diggity, you had 38,000 subscribers? Wow, good for you. All right, so before we get into Commentator Idol, I'm going to invite a judge. Diggity. Do you know where Discord is? At Diggity. Alright. Alright, Diggity. I'm inviting you to my Discord. I'm inviting everyone to my Discord. I'm gonna make a new role. Oh, we can call. Okay, yeah, that's true. Start voice call. Alright. Ring, 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 ring. Phoning a friend. Hello? I'm super shy right now. Oh. Hello?
Hey, I should end your stream, otherwise I'm gonna get like weird feedback.
You are. You have the smoothest voice, Diggity, and because we're kind of like reliving the glory days, for a second I was like, YouTube famous person is joining my call.
YouTube fame, the best fame, rings like all those. As soon as I get an esports dollar to actual dollar conversion, I can retire.
That's
It'll
right.
be great.
That's right. I'm sure you have some subs.
Yeah, I've got subs. Actually, someone actually did the ratio for me some time ago. I had a friend where they downloaded all of the YouTube content I've done, and they're like, "How many hours do you think you've put in after this?" I'm like, "I don't know, somewhere around here." And they're like, "How much have you gotten paid for all this?" And they did like the actual math ratio, and it was something like 0.0007 cents an hour. I'm like, "Yeah, this is a passion project. It's not exactly paying the bills."
My husband makes fun of me now because, like I'm streaming, I'm not working, and I've chosen StarCraft to stream, and then he jokes that I make the international poverty line. I'm almost there. Almost there. I'm not even there yet. But welcome. And do you want to explain to chat who you are and what you did and what StarCraft was about for you?
Yeah. Also, they're saying my voice is. I'm not sure how you do the sound balancing.
Let me fix that. I can do that pretty quick. Could you just start explaining, and then
I'll start talking. You can do the adjustment in real time.
Go.
So I started watching StarCraft, I think late 2006. It's about fuzzy because it's like brain insertion. And I was doing temp work at the time because it was just before the recession. Like, I don't know, the jobs were, I won't get into all that aspect of it. But there was a guy online named Klazer he had a very interesting accent, and he was a great storyteller. And he was taking, Korean professional games of Brood War and putting English commentary on them. And his game knowledge was not that great, I will say, but he just was a fantastic storyteller, so I was really sucked in. And then he, out of nowhere, was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I had a friend who, Mole Trap, and he was like, no one's doing this anymore. And we both were like, we love this and we want this to continue. Like, we know enough about StarCraft that maybe we can hop in and do it. And I'm like, I don't know, we're not exactly. And here's the thing, like back in the day, the last time I had played StarCraft like with any degree of seriousness, spawning pools were like 150 million. So it was not. And then I was okay then, but beyond that we did like a lot of really silly 2v2s and then a bunch of BGH and not much else. I'm like, well, I know explosive damage, I know whatever, sure, let's do it. And so we started doing it not because we're like, oh yeah, we're the experts and we're so smart. We're doing it because like nobody else is doing it right now, and we want to make sure this thing like keeps going. And so from my perspective, I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this until someone who's actually qualified to do it steps in. And then like years later, nobody stepped in to do it. I think part of it is like the eventually Day 9 did, and so that was like a big moment where I'm like, yes, Day 9 is like casting StarCraft. That's great. But yeah, prior to that, I'm like, I seriously like pretty regularly was people would be like, oh, your game knowledge is not that great. I'm like, yes, I agree. Why don't you do it? Like you being the amazing player that you are, why don't you step in and start anyway? So it ended up being a difficult thing because I was eventually it got popular. I was employed, and then it became the situation where I tried to play in the background as much as I could, and I don't know, more in time's sake. Eventually, I feel like I got a lot of game knowledge. Have you heard of I think it's the Cunningham effect?
No.
Where it's like if you really want an answer, what you do is you don't say like the right answer out online. What you do is you say the wrong answer with confidence, and someone will correct you. So if you actually want like if you actually want someone to say it, it's like, oh, well, water is toxic in India. You just say that with confidence and then wait for people to correct you. As far as, and so I think I did a lot of that, and that's actually why I got better at StarCraft and commentating at
That's
large.
so funny. I mean, good for you. Like I tried my hand at casting and I couldn't take it. The YouTube comments killed me. I ran
Yeah,
away. So I'm so glad you casted because like you were just excited about it. You're passionate about it. And I was saying earlier in my whole spiel, I don't think I would have really gotten into Korean pro gaming if not for you four. I'm like not
yeah.
even kidding. I just dove straight into those videos and that's how I got my start. Yeah.
I think the fact that you were playing all this time later, the fact that people are like, oh, I used to watch you back in the day. I'm like, the fact you are still watching now just makes me feel extremely warm and fuzzy about, and it made
Oh.
all of the suffering worth it. Where it's like, 'cause, yeah, Team Liquid hated us, which was absolutely hated us, which I guess leads to like, yeah, commentator idol. I think it was, I can't remember. It was Cholera's baby primarily.
Was
Cholera
it?
did a
And
lot of,
Peanut SC.
and
Oh, I
Peanut,
should have
he
invited her. Yeah.
he proposed it. Peanut hopped in, and a lot of the legwork was done by them as far as a lot of the initial conception of how it was going to be done. There was another guy, and this is all very fuzzy memory because it's a really long time ago. There's another guy, Backhoe, who's a major workhorse in the background.
Who?
Um, yeah, exactly. Or it's like, who's that?
Wow.
But he was like a major guy in the background who did a lot of stuff. I did a little bit of like for the initial, we had a big glut of initial people who participated because part of it, what it was, is we wanted people to, because we recognized the problem where it's like, okay, you have this elitist thing. We want this to be available to everybody. So we're like, we need to lower the barrier here to get people involved. And so it was kind of like a way to get more commentators in the first place and get more people to just try to, because I think that was the spirit of SC2GG. It's like, yeah, we're bad. Eventually, over time, we'll get better. But in the meantime, you got to put yourself out there, right? And I feel like that's what I'm proud of that because I feel like it's not the, okay, we're perfect. Now we're coming out and participating in something. It's, we're bad. We're going to get better eventually. Let's go out and just do it and be passionate about the thing. And,
Mm.
but anyway, so I felt like as much, it was a weird like dichotomy thing where it's like part of it, I was excited about the project in that regard, but the other part of it was like one of the major categories was like game knowledge, and I'm like, I don't know that we can really comment on
That's
that section of things.
hilarious. No, really?
I'm like, because we're not.
Oh,
I think the highest level player we had on the commentator staff was Psionic Reaver, and Psionic Reaver was like,
oh
so that was
yeah.
back in the day IC Cup. I think I was D plus at the time, and he was
Yeah.
C minus, and we were like the top two players in the entire field. I think Cholera is actually D plus as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. Well,
But point being,
go ahead.
I don't know that any of us could be like, yes, our game knowledge is so amazing. But I guess it was better than like people just diving into StarCraft with no basis. I think what I was hoping for is like, I don't know, maybe one of the people that where they were like super critical and they maybe do have like a level account on iCup can hop in and start doing this. But uh, that ended up being the case. But anyway,
Yeah, and I find it so interesting because like the ethos of Commentator Idol and trying to get people back into it, it's really interesting to me nowadays that CPL Coach People League actually encourages their newer players, their greener players to cast. And they have the best rule book too. They're like, oh, try not to say something that you don't know for sure, but you can always ask questions and you can always just say what you know. And it's amazing. There are so many community casters now, and I kind of wish we had that community back in the day.
yes.
But we'll get there. So I have a question for you. Have you watched your old casts?
So I every once in a while I'll go back and watch like some really, really old stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Especially my first one, it's like it's bad. It's like really bad. And then also looking at some old stuff where I'm just like, and it's like my game knowledge at the time was so bad and so off. Which is, I think it's just necessary to get better. I actually have a temptation at some point. If I had the videos, I don't have the videos anymore.
Mm.
If I had like the original VODs, I might like sneak back and start over again and be like, okay, let's re-commentate a lot of these and actually with some degree of knowledge,
Oh.
go through them again. But part of it is I don't have time to do that these days. And also I don't know, I just enjoy doing the BSL stuff
Yeah.
as it stands.
Speaking of which, why don't we drop some links to your BSL stuff? So Diggity is casting BSL, and where can we find you?
Oh, so if you go to YouTube, Diggity SC, that is where I'm uploading stuff. Actually, I have NA team battles, which have been really, really fun, which I've been uploading recently. And if you check out me on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think I get more like a European East Coast audience. But basically, I take a break. I take my hour and a half basically break from lunch, and I work through lunch a little bit and do a commentary from like 9:30 a.m. till about 11, typically on Tuesdays, Thursdays is on a pretty regular basis, and just been going through BSL, going through whatever replays I can get. Mostly I've been wanting to highlight people like you, where it's like get BSL participants, people who are streaming in the StarCraft community, kind of be I don't know, I'm trying to be like a vector, if that makes any sense, where I'm like, I'm going to enable people to find the streamers out there and kind of flush out I guess, get more people into the environment. I guess that's always been the goal. It's like, let's get more people into StarCraft so it can be more of a thing and have more of an audience that, because I think the vast majority of, and this is where CPL is actually helpful as well, I think, the vast majority of people who watch StarCraft are always going to be players. But I do want to have that bridge there where it's like people who are not players, who just basically play through the campaign, where they can watch and enjoy and know who these people are. Because I just think people who put a lot of, like, all the North American guys, like Striker, I know I just would list way too many people. I think they've put in so much time, and it is entertaining. And I think there's like value there. And it's just a thing that has yet to be really utilized. In the meantime, it's just like, it's my niche, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the thing I'm passionate about. So it's like, yeah, I want to make sure people know about it.
That's amazing. Thank you for continuing to cast, and it's amazing that you're spotlighting the community, because we all know about ASL, but there are some really good games in the foreign community.
You know what's funny? I think the Chobo League games are the most fun.
Really? Why?
Oddly enough, because it's like in Hasu League, it's like so like Gosu League, it's like it gets intense and interesting again. But Hasu League's like this in between period where everybody's figured out all the cheeses, and so everybody is playing a little bit more like a defensive passive style. And so the games tend to be a little bit more like, the game's more or less decided, I think, usually around like the 18-minute mark and some point of macro or something like that. But in Chobo League, it's insane. Like, anything can happen in Chobo League.
That's amazing. I'm going to show you some good games as Chobo League. I hope to show some good games.
Okay, you need to give me a highlight from your ladder as well, because before the next season starts. Yeah. Because I've been going through like highlighting the various BSL players in between seasons, and I think North American Team Battles has been part of that. And actually, I want to highlight you. You're my hero, because it's like you're stepping in and actually playing them. You're doing what I wish I could do, to be honest.
You have a 4-year-old daughter. There's no way. I have a
4-year-old. She's 5 now, and she's extremely demanding. I have I'll just say I've got a lot of stresses in life and a lot of background stuff going on that prevent me from doing it. But I'm like, Hazelie's awesome. She's out there. She's doing it. You're putting in the games and the time and being out there. And I think it's like, it's inspirational, people, in my opinion, because I see it. I'm like, man. And I think I'm hoping with you in particular. And I think you're also a very good bridge, because there's like guys like Nyoken who try to make the tutorial content, but it's weird. It's where he's so high level to a certain degree where I don't know that he can communicate that in-between bridge. And there's just that point where you can't learn the in-between intermediate steps. And that's been a big gap in the community. And I think you're filling in that space where it's like someone who's only played the single player campaign getting to like actually mediocre, decent to the ladder. And now you're hitting B, which is, in my opinion, like, I think that puts you in like the top 5% of players technically out there, right? Or
I
something
think
like that.
15 or 20.
15%. Point being, it's like it's putting you in the upper like percentages of all StarCraft players. And that, 5 is way too high, actually, now that I think about it. But point being is, you're getting up there and you're putting in the work, and it's inspirational to see. So it's I like supporting the Hazley Nut and Nut Gang across the board.
Thank you so much, Diggity. And I just have 2 questions left for you. So today I'm doing a reaction video to the old cast. So do you have any advice for me as I go through this reaction video?
Okay, there's a saying, and the way it goes is, if you have the ability to laugh at yourself, you'll never cease to be entertained. And so that's point 1.
Okay.
So that's a little moral philosophy 1, which is, I think it's helpful to just go back and be able to laugh at yourself. And I think that's also like a degree that helps you stay motivated and grounded. And the other part is to like look at how much you've grown, right, as a player and as a person, and keep that as like part of the story. It's like, I did this, I made the risk, and that risk paid off in these sort of ways. And it's and these are things I'm proud of, and the things I've dived into. And it's kind of like, this is me at that point, and look how much I've grown since then. I think all too often people will And I think this is actually a problem in the StarCraft community at large. Is all too often it's like they look at the point from behind, and it's like, I was so terrible, and it's almost like a I don't have worth then aspect, rather than like I will get better, or this is just, or this is like a building point sort of thing. And I guess that's part of the reason I like you so much is because in the stuff you're doing, it is the constant improvement drive, and it seems like you're keeping a healthy attitude about it. I don't know, I'm not inside your head.
Once in a
But
time, I tilt hard. I'm like
yeah.
everyone else, but I try. Thank you for that. That's going to be helpful. And then the last question I have for you is if if you were in charge of reviving Brood War and building the foreign community up back again, what would you do?
Oh my gosh. I actually said this a while ago. It was like the first two people I would draw in is you and Xeris, Duran Parsi, because you guys did like a lot of backbone work. You, for people that do not know, Hazley was the CEO of Collegiate Star League, so CSL, which was an awesome thing that really it turned into this gigantic thing. Absolutely massive, and I don't think people understand. That was like it was out of UCSD was the other starting point with Xeris Duran Parsi, and then Hazley was the other sector of it on the East Coast, doing the organization on that side of things, and it just turned into this massive, massive thing, and became like really, in my opinion, a groundworking of esports. Period, and created. Unfortunately, I feel like it created the groundwork for like League of Legends and for like everything else, and not Brood War, which I'm a little like,
That is correct.
and so it created the groundwork for all of the other esports. But Hazley, and so the first thing I think I would do is like, yeah, get you guys back in and put you in charge of something. But secondarily, I think the issue right now is all too often we look for like the big thing, and this is actually the problem I had back in the StarCraft 2 space as well. And I was telling people, and it was like a latent frustration is people keep wanting to have these huge events, like these big events, where it's like everybody focus on the big thing. And I'm like, really what we need to do is create these small communal experiences that like let people link in with one another and have connection, because that's what has legs over the long term. If you look at the fighting game community, and actually what even happens in the StarCraft community now, Eski, as he's like been hopping in to this, he's like, oh, it's so tight knit and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, welcome to the club. It's like, and I think it's that level of connection that happens that really keeps a thing, that gives it longevity. And I don't have the space to do it, but the other thing I would want to do is to see if we could get some open venue stuff where like just find a college campus or a mall or something like that, where we could just run a quick like King of the Hill live event and maybe have people from the audience if they want to go up and play, and just do something like that. I know the Koreans did that way back in the day, just to like let people see like at a baseline level, like this is something that's happening. So I think, yeah, the trick is like, and if I was in charge of everything, it's start building out the more grassroots things, try to create some degree of I guess this is the thing we lack compared to Korea is Korea always had the regions, right? Where it's like the PC Bong in this city or the PC Bong in that city that was creating these heroes. And I don't know how to create an equivalent in the United States, but I would want to like think that out. And I think that was where collegiate esports really excited me, because I was like, maybe we can do it around the colleges. So I guess I would probably put the focus somewhere around there again. Maybe around high schools, try to see if we can get scholarships going for StarCraft to various location.
No, it's happening for all these other esports for sure, but StarCraft is lagging behind. But it is interesting. So Duran did put some money. He's still doing CSL, and even though StarCraft Brood War has receded, and from a profit level, you just can't really support StarCraft Brood War. I think he put up his own money, or just put like a $1,000 tournament, which is small beans now in esports, and he ran a CSL StarCraft Remaster tournament, and I'm not even kidding. Tim, who is I think an A rank Protoss, that might be miscategorizing, but very good Protoss player. He got his start because of that tournament. He won, and he was like C or something, but that reinvigorated his interest and passion. And I really hope we can have more of those and more lands. And thank you so much for all of your points. I think we've solved it. We have a road plan. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. I guess the last point is don't underestimate, like, to a degree of small celebrity. I guess that was a side thing I did. Now it's like self-brag. I created Barcraft, where we just like go up I'm not sure if I created it or if it was just kind of a zeitgeist thing where a lot of people created it at once. There were weird background. I guess I can talk about this now.
Yeah.
There are weird background lawsuits around the name because there was one guy who made the actual name Barcraft and tried to trademark it.
Was that Derek, One Nation of Gamers?
I'm not sure who it was.
Okay. Okay.
Precisely. What I do know is another guy in esports scene who was working with him, who I really miss. I'm not sure how much he wants to talk about him or not because he kind of exited the community after burning out. But he was a really awesome guy. He was basically like, Diggity, if I bring you into these lawsuits, will you talk about all the stuff you did to like kind of settle? I'm like, yeah, just like make it an open thing because it should be an open thing. And that's kind of what, and because I think, and from my understanding is because of the threat, because I had been doing it so much earlier and because of the threat of me being able to go in as a community person and saying like, yeah, I was doing this, whatever, keep it open. It ended, or I don't know, there was weird background things and there was different, but point being, it ended up resolving. And so it became more of a generalized thing. But there's, back when day 9 wasn't day 9, day 9 came down and did stuff in like those event spaces, right? And we had players, just like small local guys in Southern California, which there are a slew of amazing Brood War players in California for whatever reason. And it was just like guys that were like, even B rankers who were out on the ladder. People were like, oh, look at this guy who's a B ranker. And I think people underestimate that effect and like kind of the community and draw and like the sort of impact, that positive impact that can have. So I don't know how to utilize that sort of thing myself because I think I'm bad at celebrity overall.
What?
But I guess that's
you
the
are
other.
a celebrity. Diggity SC.
I know I'm just not good. I'm not very good at like sitting in it and being one. But anyway, so I think that's the other thing is don't underestimate your own ability to draw people in to this and to make it happen. Because I think this is, I don't know that we'll ever be top dog esport, but I do think we can end up like chess where we're like survivors and we can move on and hand it off to the next group down the line and watch it flourish and just, be what it is right now, I think, over a very long period of time. I don't think people realize, I think that's the other thing. I don't think people realize we're in a golden age right now of StarCraft, in my opinion, where you do have ASL, you do have BSL, and you can watch a lot of StarCraft on Twitch. Like I haven't seen a moment recently where you hop on Twitch and nobody's streaming StarCraft that's highly entertaining.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I hope that persists. Yeah. And now I feel like I've rambled for too long, but I'll go ahead.
No. There's just a treasure trove of things here. So much, I don't know, nostalgia, but also so many good moments and experiences. And I'm sure we could go on this endlessly. Yeah. But I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your time. I'm about to dive in there. I will remember to laugh at myself.
Yep, I'll let you. I will say that I will say from the background, because we split up all I can't remember how many participants we had initially. I think it was somewhere around 40. This is like hazy. And we split up all of the initial VODs to and we each covered a certain amount to kind of break up the work a little bit. I remember Rise doing a lot of work in that space as well. And I will say there were people that were much, much worse than you. So don't even worry about that as far as being able to point in that regard. But in the meantime, yeah, I think what place did you take? I forget.
Second,
okay. Because I remember that Kenny won it. I remember thinking that Morph was going to do, because that was one of the guys on the guest episode I covered. I remember thinking Morph was going to end up doing better than he did because he had that like British accent advantage and whatever. Not, but anyway, I'll stop ranting now and let you get to the self-flagellation with
thank you
old school.
And Teddy Veritas just wants to thank you for the hours of entertainment you provided when he was a little Teddy.
I appreciate it, Teddy. And it means a lot that you and other people are still watching and active in the community.
Oh, is there anything else you want to sign off with?
I guess, yeah, be sure to check out BSL as it goes on. Continue to support Hazelnut. Moltrap's also been doing if you want to get kind of the hanging around. Actually, I think he's doing it live now. So keep watching this, I guess. Pop this up in the background. But he does old school VOD watching. It's just kind of like a chill hangout thing. So I'll plug that as well. And check out all the amazing foreigners that are out there, in my opinion. I think the people focus so much on the Koreans that oftentimes the amazing foreigners that just are stellar get overlooked. And I guess that'll be it.
All right. Thanks so much, Diggity. Have a good day.
Have a great day.
Bye. Wow. That was really fun, guys. There's so much in that conversation. I think all the memories are worth kind of going into some more. but also our future, you know? Our future as StarCraft, as a StarCraft community. All right, we have our two focuses. We're going to remember to laugh at ourselves, and we're going to always remember how far we've grown. We are going to watch some Commentator Idol, and we're going to enjoy it, okay, guys? This is just a reaction video. I'm just going to do my best. I hope I don't flagellate myself too much. This is so scary. Wish me luck going in. Okay. This is the first link. Transition. I think when I saw this, oh yes, it was segmented when I saw this. So this is SC2GG Commentator Idol. Diggity introduced it briefly. It is like American Idol, except for commentators. So you could be any level, and all you had to do was pick a game and cast it. Let's go through the intro, because it's kind of hilarious. Wow. Production value, am I right? How's the sound level, by the way, for desktop
Hello everybody,
sounds?
this is Cholera, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of the SC2GG Commentator Idol. This is a project we've been working on for many months, and now we are proud to announce the 6 contestants. We've gotten so much responses from all you guys, so thank you for the people who applied. We've gotten, I believe, 17 people applying to this, and we actually added an extra contestant slot because there was so much talent. Now I would like to announce our 2 permanent judges. They'll be with us every week, and each week they'll be joined
Let's
with
listen
a
to part of this. I
surprise
wasn't
guest
planning
judge.
on
We have a
listening
list
to
already,
all of this,
it
but
is kept under lock and key. But
think
I
it's
will
useful.
tell you that Diggity will be our 3rd judge next week, and these 3 judges will be
Diggity, third
how the
judge.
voting goes. They will definitely have great insights upon what the contestants are doing, and they will also have a very big say in terms of who moves on. But you guys, the viewers, will have the most say. Now I'd like to introduce our 2 judges. We have here Peanut and Rise. Peanut is a esports expert. She's been to Korea, seen the elephant. She's met tons of people in the esports industry and a lot of the pro gamers themselves.
Fun fact is that Peanut went on to work at Blizzard, and now she's working as a journalist for an esports news publication. Don't remember what it's called,
Peanut's
or like a
also just
content
months away
producer. We met up in a. I should have pulled out all our pictures, but we met up in New York City like 10 years later, and it was really fun. The nuts met up.
Finishing her degree in linguistics, and this background will certainly help her in terms of judging the different qualities of the voice and the talking style of our commentators, aspects which I think are very important in terms of making or breaking a commentator. Peanut, why don't you introduce yourselves? Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Thanks very much, caller, for that introduction. Hi, everybody. This is Peanut, and I'm head staff at SC2GG, and I love.
So SC2GG was the competing forum, and it was a little bit more accessible, I think. And Team Liquid was like the place you go to for like capital S strategy.
Participating in the community. You may have seen me on the SC2GG IRC channel, and as well as the forums. I'd like to thank Caller very much for giving me the chance to be a judge, and I'm looking forward very much to sharing my views on the contestants' use of especially color and their vocal qualities in the commentaries. I have a lot of experience in the performing arts, especially singing and acting, and like Caller said, I'm pursuing a linguistics degree, so I hope to add those areas of expertise to this excellent panel, and I very much look forward to working with Rise and our excellent guest judges, who of course will be announced in due course. But I just want to let you know they're going to be an excellent group of guest judges.
Our second judge will be SC2GG Rise. He has been a commentator.
Twitch chat is IRC in the back end? What? That's super cool. So I completely forgot about Rise. Rise was also part of the whole commentating thing, but I think the original was Clauser, then Dignity Moltrap and Collar around the same time, and then Rise and Psionic Reaver, and there was a couple more.
For a very long time. He's had great experience with commentating, and he's done some of the most hilarious and well-detailed casts of all time. I think I have a great time with Rise every time we commentate. I believe most of you viewers do also. So Rise, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you'll be bringing into the judging panel?
Hey guys, this is Rise from SC2GG.com,
Hey!
and I'm going to be commentating commentators along with Peanut and our guest judges, and I am looking forward to it. You may have heard me before on the Violet Tech account, as well as my own. I do have a lot of you guys do like to watch this, which is great. And now you guys are trying.
Yeah, Rise was really mean. That's what I remember. I remember my ego being harmed by YouTube comments and Rise.
In your own hand at commentating yourself. So, out of 17 submissions, we have picked 6 people to go on. And I don't have quite the credentials that Peanut does, but I do know a little bit about commentary after doing so many myself. So, thanks to all your criticism, by the way. So, it wouldn't actually come about without you guys telling us what we were and weren't good at. So, now we're going to pass that on to this new group of commentaries and commentators and see if we can mold one of them to be a
Oh,
SC2GG
interesting,
front page
Ziggity.
commentator.
Yeah, definitely. I think once you guys see these commentators, you'll definitely want to stick around. We could have picked, I think, at least 10 contestants out of the pool of 17 people. I mean, there was so much talent coming out of the woodwork, too. There were, I believe, 9 or 10 contestants who have never done commentaries before, who submitted 2 commentaries each, 2 videos, put them on YouTube just for this contest. And we're proud to announce them very shortly from now. Just like to point out that this week there will be no voting, so please don't get confused. This week we are just introducing the commentators who will be participating in this contest, and we are going to announce the first assignment at the end of this video for everyone to see. This Thursday night, the first assignments will be completed by all 6 of the contestants, and they will be online on the...
I love that they're talking about assignments. Like, I was literally like, I was a freshman in college, and this was like one of the additional assignments I did every week.
front page of SC2GG.com. We might even put another promo video up to make sure you guys have the links to them. So please watch all of those commentaries, and then...
And also, it was so important to me back then. I think I've become so jaded. I was like, 13,000 views! Team Liquid and SC2GG and StarCraft and Commentator Idol is the world. I didn't realize how big the world was until, you know, I graduated, etc. But, you know, college was a really fun time because of that. Because I was like, you know, we were kind of at the epicenter of something.
Go to SC2GG.com to the link we provide and vote.
And when you're a
3
teenager,
choices to
anything
vote
that you
for.
do
can
is
vote
like the
for,
biggest
your
deal.
best, who you think did best, second best, and third best with different point values. So it is going to be a very interesting system. You do have to register at SC2GG.com.
Wow, we
form,
taught
that
teddy
takes
bear
literally
toss
30
English.
seconds, and
Okay,
your
let's
vote
skip
will
past this
determine
part.
pretty much who will be the next SC2GG idol. So without any further ado, let's introduce our contestants.
Okay. All right. So we're not going to watch anyone else. If you guys want to, you can. So that's the link to the VOD, guys. But we are going to go straight into Hazel. All right. I can't. I'm not ready. I feel the cringe rising within me, and all I can say is I can't. All right. Ready?
First contestant out of the 6 chosen for the SC2G Commentator Idol. Our next contestant that we'll be announcing is Hazel. Hazel, of course, you know, is a female commentator, and she is been around for about a month and a half. She was very excited about this contest, and she sent in 2 very good submissions. She is very much into the esports scene among colleges. She's trying to start her own collegiate esports tournament, or Star League actually, and I believe her college will actually be playing another college in the upcoming months. So she's already arranged a lot, and Pina, I believe you picked a nice introduction clip from one of her casts of, I think it was Yellow Arnak versus...
Okay, she picked a nice introduction. This is probably the most flattering cast. segment of the cast that they could find. But let's go listen. It's gonna be Yellow Arnak versus someone.
It's Haya.
Haya, ZVC.
안녕하세요. By the way, that means hello in Korean and hello and welcome to everyone back to Game 4 of Lake Half Oz versus On GameNet Sparkies. Now, I'm not actually Korean. Don't believe me.
Oh my god, I can't. Okay, alright, listen. I'm gonna give you the down low, the details behind the scenes. I think I memorized that. I think I recorded my cast over and over and over and over again until I had something memorized. I did a lot of research. I was like, okay, who are the players? What are their teams? And that's why it sounds so stilted, because if I were saying it today, I'd be like, 안녕하세요. Like, as an 18-year-old, you can tell that I'm self-conscious because I talk up here. 안녕하세요. I just talk different. I use my head voice rather than my chest voice. So. Alright, let's continue.
If I do say that, I just have a lot of Korean international
Bye,
friends
Diggity.
who teach me greetings, pleasantries, and a lot of bad words. Yeah, I won't be using them in this commentary though, unless Yornak loses, because I really love Zerg players, and Yornak is actually.
Yes,
So before we go into the judging, I'm going to judge it myself. I'm very eager. I'm very prepared. I'm very eager to please. However, there's a lot of self-consciousness with that opening. It's clearly memorized. And it kind of became my thing. It was really funny. I would say, and I would say it in this way. Hello, everyone. This is Hazley Nut bringing to you another audio commentary about StarCraft Brood War or something like that. And I would never speak that way. So I wasn't really using my speaking voice to do the cast. And in my opinion, this holds for singing, and this holds for casting, and any performance. If you are trying too hard with your muscles and your voice to sound a certain way rather than use your drum roll, please, authentic voice, people can tell. And people just feel slightly more uncomfortable. So when I listen to this, you hear my voice, and you hear my voice back then. In yogic terms, I would say my throat chakra is completely closed. But in other terms, I'm just not relaxed. So it's going to be hard for you guys to relax. It's something that I still do to this day, but I've gotten a lot better. Speaking of which, look at how we've grown. I think I've gotten a lot better about just talking how I sound and not trying to pretend to be prim and proper or whatever I thought was an appropriate character. All right, let's take a look.
the Yellow Arnak versus Haya intro was particularly salient to me because she starts off with 안녕하세요, which is a Korean greeting. You know, hello, how are you? And she's actually has very good pronunciation. And as a linguistics major, I certainly appreciate that. As someone who knows a lot about performing and the value of a good opening, it's definitely something that makes her stand out, and which also made me feel welcome when she continues and says, like, yes, hello and welcome. That's why I picked it.
Great. I also liked how she mentioned
Peanut, you're wrong. That was all trash. Let's continue.
that she was going to start cursing in Korean if Yarnak lost. But I think, Rise, you picked two clips from later on in that game when Yellow actually was losing at the close to the very end. Let's watch both of them right now.
Yarnak needs to put up a swarm for those Zerglings, or at least a plague. I think a plague does go.
I can't! Okay, I'm gonna stop. I've made my point about the voice already, but like, Yarnak! I can't even do that if I tried. Yarnak! Anyway. I have music going on. We're gonna turn that off. Alright. Yarnak! Alright. What am I talking about? Defiler's Plague Storm. Okay.
Go off. No, it does not. That was just too much Zergling blood and red marine colors to tell defensive matrix is on that one Marine. The Marine is taking all that sunken shots, and Yarnak looks like he's in trouble. He doesn't have a defiler. He's kept that top left expansion, but now he can't keep his actual base. He can't keep his main base, and if his main base goes down, he will be in so much trouble. And
Actually, I'm gonna say that that wasn't bad. Like, the voice aside, this is my take. The voice aside, I tried to do play-by-play. My words per minute were not terrible. And I made a horrible joke about the red Zergling blood and the red of the Marine. I'm like, what am I saying? I probably rehearsed that also. I probably rehearsed it down to a T, and that's why I was able to pull out that metaphor or whatever it was. I hate it. Teddy Bear Tales, I hate it.
I don't know. Yarnak just didn't play as well that game. His mutalist control was a little bit off. He ran all his mutas really early in the game into a bunch of turrets, into a bunch of Marines, and he just didn't get any economic harass off. Also, build order may have been just a problem.
Wait, I thought this was a
Haya
CBC.
went for that
Haya's
fast,
turret?
racks into CC.
Shows
Yarnak
what I
kind of
know.
went for a low econ build and just didn't do anything with it. He went for a 12 pool, which isn't that risky, but it still is less economically beneficial than a 12 hatch, and he just wasn't used.
Okay, sorry, I was just so focused in on my voice that I missed the strategic analysis I'm giving. And did I just say a 12 pool is not that risky? um. Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, Sir Techie, how's it going?
Wasn't able to use those early Zerglings to any effect.
Okay, we're gonna listen to that again for the analysis.
And he just didn't get any economic harass off as well that game. Actual base, he can't keep his main base. I don't know. Yarnak just didn't play as well that game. His mutalist control was a little bit off. He ran all his mutas really early in the game into a bunch of turrets, into a bunch of Marines, and he just didn't get any economic harass off. Also, build order may have been.
So, an interesting point here is that at this stage of my StarCraft ladder career, I have very little game knowledge, so we're kind of trying to compare or just to know what I look like as an 18-year-old girl, right? 19. No, I'm still 18 in this video. My birthday is January 21st. Write it down. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that the mutas did not do enough damage, which is probably true. I'd have to watch the game. But I think now I would have a better understanding of why they didn't do damage. When was the timing of the mutalist? Were they on time? Did he have 6, 7, 8 mutas at certain timestamps? Where did Terran choose to put turrets, and where did Zerg choose to go with the initial mutalisks? Did Terran scout the 12 pool? Because if they did, then they can respond with earlier turrets. So I'm actually surprised. This is really interesting to me because I'm hearing that I said that Yarnak went for a 12 pool, and that's big. That's huge. That's so different from a 12 hatch. So I think that probably just went completely over my head and possibly the heads of my viewers and judges. Let's keep listening. Thank you. I look cheery and analytical. Ha 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 ha.
Just a problem. While Haya went for that fast racks into CC, Yarnak kind of went for a low econ.
What does fast racks into CC mean?
Built and just didn't do anything with it. He went for a 12 pool, which isn't that risky, but it still is.
That's wrong.
less
It's just very
economically
risky.
beneficial than a 12 hatch, and he just wasn't used.
It's almost like an all-in. You're kind of just you're playing a mind game and
Wasn't able to use those early Zerglings to any effect.
all right. Let's see what they
All
say.
right, so we had the basically we had 2 clips. One was the
Yeah, Sir Techie, this is me. This is me 12 years ago. We're doing a reaction video. Wish me luck. Wish me luck.
play-by-play as Yellow Arnek was getting demolished by Haya, and the other one was a post-game summary. Why did you like these two, Rise?
Well, I gotta say, the play-by-play was pretty good. She did a good job of saying exactly what was happening, exactly what Yellow needed to do in order to defend against this, exactly why he couldn't defend against it,
I
and why he
memorized it,
ended up
dude.
losing. Followed up by a good post-game summary of why he may have lost,
I
what could have
memorized that too.
contributed to that,
I wrote a
due
script.
to economic build order choices and things like that. But hey, I gotta call you out on something, Hazel. You didn't curse when he lost, so I think I gave you minus 50 DKP.
That's pretty funny. Good job,
Yeah,
Rise.
exactly. I was missing out on the Korean curses. All right. And
Ready?
I think you picked.
Your neck lost. Oh, I shouldn't curse. I'm not gonna curse.
Another clip from
Shebar, CB.
the second submission she gave, Jaedong versus Shine, and this is close to the end of the game here.
Oh,
as
this is
Jaedong
gonna be a
is
ZVP.
attacking,
We know a lot more
finishing
about
off
ZVT
Shine.
now.
Let's watch.
Down on those poor Marines.
No! Shine as Terran? I don't know anything. Guardians? I think this is a game worth watching just independently of the fact that we're here for some reason in 2021. Alright, let's listen.
Simultaneously, Jaedong puts up a swarm. He needs one more swarm, though, closer to the Marines, and there he goes. That lurker will take down so many Marines. Oh, or not, but so many medics. Those poor medics. 4 medics in a row. Wow. Someone really doesn't like females.
Why would I say that? Why would I say that? Why would I say that? This did not age well. This did not even age well. I'm dying. Alright, continue.
Anyway, those
What a bad joke.
Guardians will come in. Jaedong should spread them out a little bit more. It's nice to have concentrated fire, but it will not be nice to have 4 simultaneous irradiates go off on those Guardians. But
Peanut, why did you choose this clip, and what do you think it shows about her?
There were two specific.
Oh, you're bringing up your okay. Let me try to get the sound levels to be
Post-game
reasonable.
summary of
King and finishing off Shine.
or not, but so many medics. Those poor medics. 4 medics in a row. Wow.
This might
Someone
help.
really doesn't.
Oops.
Anyway, those Guardians will come in. Jaedong should
This
spread
should
them out a little bit more. It's nice to have concentrated fire, but it will not be nice to have 4 simultaneous.
Specific places in this clip that I really like. The first.
Peanut, why did you choose this clip, and what do you think it shows about her?
There were 2 specific places in this clip that.
And when I scream at max volume, I don't know how to not scream here. I'm gonna move my microphone away. I'm so sorry. I'm
I
screaming.
really like. The first one
So sorry.
was when she described the Guardians as raining acid down on the Terran army. It's a beautiful turn of phrase.
Hey guys, apparently I used the turn of phrase raining acid, and I'm very proud of that. But what I'm more proud of is the other day I used like 3 vocabulary words. I used the word thwarted. I forget. It was when I was casting Keen versus Teddy Bear Toss, and I used like 3 SAT words all at once, and I was so proud of myself. Okay.
Phrase. It's true, supposedly, according to the way the StarCraft units are supposed to work in, real life or whatever. But it's just a very good way of saying it. And then also the other part that I thought was interesting was when she said that Jaedong must not like women because the lurkers were
Jaedong must not like women. What was I thinking?
killing a bunch of medics. And I have to say, actually, since I've met Jaedong, I met him on several occasions. He did not seem to me to be that averse to women, but I did appreciate that you threw in that bit of color there.
yeah,
I
he
think
likes when
I
men
think he likes
dress up as
backhoes
women.
more. Jinx.
I think the issue was that I was so hyper aware that I was a girl that I commented, like, I preempted the conversation about men versus women and engaged with it in a, like, heterosexual dominant sort of manner. Then again, it was 2009, so we're going to give ourselves a pass here.
Jinx, Rise. All right. So, Rise, and then Peanut, then I guess we'll give a little bit of a summary about how do you think she's doing right now and what her strengths are and what she needs to work on. Rise, why don't you go first?
Sound more natural. it's good that we're preparing. And it's good that we're trying to make things exciting and trying to sound like a Korean commentator, getting faster when there's more action and getting slower when there's less. It's good to have structure. You know, the beginning, the intro, play by plays when they're relevant. At the end, do an analysis. There are a lot of elements of like, yeah, that's what makes a reasonable cast. So let's see.
Well, I gotta say, she's probably one of the most well-spoken contestants we had. I mean, really, she has a very dainty voice, and she clearly enunciates everything, which is great to begin with. Then she has a good knowledge of the game, followed up by good color on top of it all. So all around, she was a pretty good pick. She did a good job, and with the exception of her not cursing, I thought she did a great job, and I look forward to hear some more submissions from her.
Peanut?
Yes, Rise, I agree. She is definitely one of the most well-spoken contestants. She has an excellent command of English, and she also has this awareness of other languages, especially Korean.
I was an English major, and I did study Korean, Chinese, and Japanese in college. One of my dreams actually is as foreign brew war grows, and I think it will grow, and people continue to love it as a hobby, you know? I want to help link up Chinese StarCraft with foreign StarCraft. We're already seeing Mihu play in Bombastic Star League. And yeah, I can't wait for there to be more of that interchange. And then I want to interview them.
Which brings her very close to my heart. And she does have these very interesting turns of phrases. And she has these very interesting turns of phrases, very colorful, but also very eloquent. I do think that she has to work on her flow a little bit, she has to work on the consistency of her flow, especially going from the early game to the late game. But overall, I think she's doing a great job, and she also has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and just to conclude, I agree.
Hey, Benevolent Bear. I don't, but I do. I'm part of a WeChat group, actually. Let me take a look. So, hopefully no one needs to message me today. I didn't really tell everyone that I'm not active right now. Okay. So, I'm part of this WeChat group. I'll try to show it on screen. Okay. So this is like, if you take a look, I know this is so janky, but they have posts. It's called 911 星际 911星际, which means 911 StarCraft, and they post just like we do. The bracket for ASL round of 8. This thing says 2021 Hangzhou 县下赛公告, and this is an advertisement for a Hangzhou tournament, and it's going to be on October 23rd and 24th. And how many views are we getting? This was posted a week ago. It has 5,000 reads, so you can extrapolate from there about 5,000 viewers. Like if you look at a Team Liquid thread, maybe that's the equivalent. Which really isn't bad. I think so. So I'm assuming they're kind of similar to our foreign scene, where they have tournament organizers, they have competitors, they have viewers. They're also similarly motivated by ASL because that's what you strive to do. Yeah. I just don't quite understand enough Chinese to really do anything. I once opened up a what do you call it? I once opened up a stream and listened to it. It was really fun to listen to StarCraft in the Chinese language. Ooh, I haven't seen the thread for Boneth versus China. I'm definitely going to check it out. That's great. I had no idea. Yeah, random Korean. Diggity was here and now he's gone. Wait, were you UCSD? Oh, I'm confusing you with someone else. Okay, cool. Yeah, Diggity was here. Okay, let's continue. Let's see what Cholera has to say about my commentator idol journey.
Agree with you guys on all those points. I was going to say them myself. I do think that what she needs to work on is just a little bit of on her nerves. Sometimes I think she does sort of
was
lose
very
her train of
nervous.
thought or just get stuck on a couple of things. However, I do think she absolutely, like you said, is very strong in terms of knowing a lot about the players from watching hundreds and hundreds of commentaries. I do think, though, it'll be interesting to see how she does in the later stages of this contest, if she makes it that far, because I know she actually is very nervous during dual casts, and I can just give you a hint, that might be part of our competition later. But we'll see how she does then, if she makes it then. And by the way, congratulations, Hazel, for being the second chosen Commentator Idol contestant. Our third one is...
All right. Awesome. That was not as painful as I thought it would be. Cool. All right. So now I was thinking we won't go through every episode of Commentator Idol, but we will go through, let's see. I prepared a couple of videos. So this, where is he? I think this is fun. So just to give you an idea of where I was at, and this this was a stuffed animal from my first relationship. You know, the type that you really care about because it's like it's almost like an adopted child between you and your significant other, and then and then when you break up, it's dead to you. Yeah, this is that stuffed animal, and I think this was 2009, so, and I was 18, 19-year-old girl, and I was nervous about being on YouTube. So I invented this character called Commentary Bear, and I would kind of try to make announcements via Commentary Bear, because I don't think I wanted to show my face yet.
Hello everyone! I am the Commentary Bear, and I just wanted to let you know that I'll be popping up randomly to let you know when C-Star League videos are streaming on the Ustream.tv channel. So please join me. Today there won't be one.
Ustream used to be one of the competing live streamers. There was Ustream, Justin, and Owned, I want to say.
Because of technical difficulties,
It all
but in the
became
future,
Twitch at some
whenever you
point.
do see me on Hazley Nuts YouTube, I'm not just stealing her stuff, I'm actually going to be commentating, so please do join me. Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, that's actually kind of cute. Where is it? It's like going like, thank you very much. All right. I'll give myself a pass. I was anticipating to make fun of myself a lot more, but I'm being surprisingly nice to myself. Okay. I might give you guys a choice. I don't remember which of these games was actually entertaining. Actually, yes, I was bear tubing. You guys are right. I was ahead of my time. I was so ahead of my time. Maybe I should look into VTubing. I do like imitating voices. I'm just not very good at it yet. I'm probably like E rank. I'll show you some of what I've been practicing, but maybe after we watch one of these, do remind me. Okay, so Pure versus Bisu is a PvP. Now Kiki, who's that? S2? I think, what was Mind? Oh my god. Okay, Roro versus Best. Mind versus Fantasy. I think that's a TVT. God, me casting TVT? I know nothing about TVT. This might be a ZVP, so this might be a good spot to start. because I know I feel mostly the most confident about my ZVT now. We're gonna watch it. Dive right in.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hazel or Hazley Nut bringing to you another audio commentary, this time of a single game in the match between OG and Sparkies.
Hello, this is Hazelnut bringing to you another audio commentary. It's a lot of it's a lot of this. And now I might say, hello, this is, no, hello. I like to use a mix of chest and head actually, but this.
And Eastro played earlier
Ladies and gentlemen.
this week. Now, I do say ladies and gentlemen in my opening because I harbor an undying, everlasting hope that there are females out there in the world. I mean, female StarCraft gamers out there in the world. I hope
Why would I say
that there are many just cloaked, burrowed, female wraiths and
that? Okay, I agree with the sentiment. I still agree with the sentiment that I hope there are a lot of female StarCraft players who are cloaked, burrowed, and hidden in the community, and that hopefully they come out and unburrow and hang out with all of us.
lurkers. If lurkers could be female, I'm not sure how the logistics would work for that, but I hope that there are many females out there. And, you know, I just want to see me some females. I'm sure
No! Don't say
many of you share the sentiment.
Ugh!
Whether you be female or male in the StarCraft community, hopefully all of
Sorry,
you
I'm gonna be
will come
screaming
and join
apparently
us
today.
and, you know, establish a community that's fully flourishing with balanced demographics.
I want to see me some females. This is never okay to say. I need to bury myself in a hole.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Lurker burrow.
Anyway, you know, it's really nice to have a toss girl, but it'd be even nicer to have our own toss girl in the foreign scene. Not saying that I could be that toss girl because I'm only probably a D or D+. But anyway, back to the game. We have Yarnak spawning as Purple Zerg at the bottom right corner playing for OG.
Okay, so first note for myself is when you cast, you want to cast what's on the screen, especially if there's an OBS, right? So the Korean cast already had an OBS, and you can look at the minimap and everything, but I really should have said Protoss first, because
And
we look at
Sparkies,
Protoss
and we
first.
have Songho, who is looking quite concentrated right now, spawning in Teal Protoss at the top right. We are playing on Andromeda, which is actually a very Zerg imbalanced map. It's very imba. And
Is it?
part of the reason is probably because it is such a large map with so many expansions that the Zerg can just crawl over and infest.
I think that might be true. It's like a larger map, and it might be hard for Protoss to secure a fourth.
Everywhere, every single corner of the map, and that really suits the nature of a Zerg player. Zerg players want to expand everywhere,
This is Andromeda.
start colonies here and there, contributing minerals and resources to the hive mind, the central hive mind, having units from every corner of the map channeled straight at the Protoss player.
So that was just a lot of pros, and I think I could have done a little bit less of that. Like, you know, like, we get the point. Zerg has a lot of units. That's how they play. I'm not trying to write poetry here.
And yeah, that's how Zergs play. They play with massive units and all for the glory of the Storm, you know, that sort of play style. Whereas Protoss players are kind of different from that. Their power lies in the strength of numbers.
I think this is still true from, like, and, you know, like, my knowledge at this point was pretty generalized. It is true that Protoss needs to, like, all be together. Everyone together in a big old Protoss ball, and Zerg is a lot more about having huge supply counts and using all of them with flanks and positioning. So all of this is true.
Protoss armies depend on being concentrated, kind of like a dagger, kind of like a bisu, which is dagger in Korean. Kind of like bisu, yeah. Bisu is quite the Protoss player, by the way, just putting in a plug for the
Please don't say that Bisu is attractive.
Most handsome
Fuck! I knew it.
man in Pro League. I must say, not Reach, Bisu.
Jaedong, my tastes have changed.
Anyway, Protoss players kind of
I didn't watch this. I just kind of knew that it was coming.
need that concentrated army. They need to build up that mass of Zealots, Dragoons, Templars, Archons, and attack focused loci of targets rather than expansions all over the map, which is what the Zerg players are prone to do. Now we are seeing a 12 hatch from Yornak, and we are seeing a Forge fast expand from Songho. Songho does discover this 12 hatch. He is sending a probe, and he probably sees that 12 hatch. He's not going to need to put down too many cannons. Probably
No, he doesn't need any cannons.
no cannons actually before plopping down a net.
But I think I was nervous. I think I knew that. It's really hard to cast. You can tell when you're nervous and you're like not really thinking.
Nexus. Now this is Andromeda. It is 4-player map. I don't think either player really anticipated being able to scout out the other player so early, even though they already have. But both players have gone for that early early expansion macro style play.
What are the other options in 2009? Right? Like, people didn't gate FE back then. I guess people would 2-gate. I don't...
And we're probably going to see a relatively long match. I'm not sure. Andromeda tends to drag on a bit just because of that little choke that makes it so difficult for players to push up.
What choke? There's a choke? In my head, Andromeda is Circuit Breaker. I can't... That's just... I haven't played on this map in like so many years. I have no idea what this map looks like. I don't know what choke I'm talking about.
We might see even some, I don't know, dropship play, maybe Reavers, maybe
Oh, 2009 is double gate or Forge expand. Interesting.
Mutalisk, something that just makes it
where's this
easier for the
expansion? Is
player
this
to
stuff
get
in
up
mineral
that
only?
cliff, to get into that base that's so easily defendable. I think we just saw a third hatchery from Yarnak. This map is actually quite conducive to something like 3-hatch Mutalisks because of that really easily protected mineral only.
I don't think that makes sense. Why would having an easy to protect mineral only make Mutalisk better? So that's wrong.
But, you know, if I were Yarnak, I probably wouldn't go Mutalisk. Of course I
Why? If I were Yardak, I would go Mutalisk because I don't know how to build the unit.
would have Yarnak's Mutalisk control, so maybe I would. But Mutalisk never seemed to work for me on Andromeda. It's so difficult just because there aren't really those ridges that you want.
Oh, okay, that's valid. I did play a lot of StarCraft back in the day, so it's possible 18-year-old me had some concept of how a ZVP on Andromeda plays out on IC Cup. There's some chance that the terrain is or is not friendly to mutas. We're gonna have to see the back of the natural to see if any of this is valid.
That you want to be able to
Yeah,
use
yellow
in order
Arnak is Yarnak.
to have effective Mutalisk harass. There just isn't. And it might even get scouted out beforehand so that the long distance
Oh, Andromeda has a second base in your main?
from base to base would allow for Songho to build cannons in time, to prepare in time for anything like Mutalisk. So we might see Hydras. I would go Hydras personally, and I hope to see Hydras, just so that Yornak doesn't lose, because I really love Zerg players.
Yeah, I don't really like this shtick. I remember this being my shtick. Like, I was just kind of like eager to please, right? And I knew two things. I knew I could comment on how handsome people were, and I could say how much I love Zerg. Someone actually gave me really good feedback, which is like, you need to stop saying that you love everything. Because, like, that was not really authentic to how I felt, but it was like my fallback. Like, if I had nothing else to say, I'd be like, I love this game so much. I love Zerg. Okay.
But anyway, the Protoss players in this matchup actually have much more difficult of a job, I think, because the Protoss player has to scout out every possible combination that the Zerg player can throw at them. Zerg players can go speedlings, they can go 9 overpool, they can go 6 pool even, 5 pool if you're, or 4 pool if you're feeling ambitious, or you can go Mutalisk, you can go Hydras, you can...
I don't know if he knew this at the time, if anyone knew this at the time, but 5 pool is the most friendly ZVP cheese. Not 4 pool, not 6 pool, I don't think. And then the other thing I wanted to say was, it was kind of interesting that, like, you know, like, I watched a lot of StarCraft. I watched a lot of StarCraft 2GG and, like, YouTube. So this is kind of, like, just the baseline of where I start. And I knew, generally speaking, that Zerg masses units. Protoss has the army and keeps it together. All of that is fine. And then I also knew... what is it that I'm saying here? I had a point here.
Or 4 pool if you're feeling ambitious.
Right, and I also knew that Zerg had a lot of tech trees, like different types of decisions, so you could blindside your opponent with mutas or hydras or lurkers or who knows, and like that's one of the strengths of Zerg. So I knew that from a pretty high level. I don't personally do that on my end. Like, I'm not at the level where I can mind game, but this is a valid point, and I think it's an interesting point for newcomers to StarCraft, but not so much people who play the game a lot.
Or you can go Mutalisk, you can go Hydras, you can go 2 Hatch Lurkers, you can go a variety of things, and it's up to the Protoss player to keep scouting, and unfortunately for Songho, Yarnak is the one scouting with this one
Smooth transition.
Zergling, this one hero Zergling that somehow sneaked past that one photon cannon that did not spawn in time, did not warp in time, excuse me. I'm confusing my generation verbs. I believe it's spawn, warp, and build.
Oh. I didn't have to correct myself on that. I think that wastes more time than anything.
Anyway, we're seeing a Stargate from Songho. He's probably going to build a Corsair in order to have that early...
So, a lot of uncertainty in my casting because I don't have game knowledge. So, like, he's probably going to build a Corsair. Of course! Do I think that he's going to build a Scout? It's just, I threw a lot of probablys into my cast because I was feeling really uncertain. Which is fine. It's just a habit.
Early Scout, and also that general nuisance to Overlords is really annoying to the Zerg player. That probe is still alive. Good job by Songho keeping that probe alive, even though that luxury has been forced to build a couple more Zerglings to deal with it.
Did I call him luxury by accident? He's Yellow Arnak. They're twins.
That probe might actually see that a Spire has been put down, and the Hydralisk Den was put down.
Oh, this is so interesting. Is this 2009 meta? Because we see both Spire and Den.
Just a few seconds later, I'm not sure actually if that probe scouted that out. I'm actually wondering, is it possible that Songho thinks that Yarnak only has a Spire now? It might be interesting. Songho probably will be prepared for either case scenario.
Alright, for Songho builds a goon for some reason.
He is building a Corsair right now. He will be able to go into the base and scout. He has +1 weapons upgraded. I think he is safe for now.
Why did he pull some probes? He didn't build any zealots? Interesting. Huh. You know, this is just a different meta. I feel like a lot of Protosses now at least build 2 zealots and then move out around now.
Protosses tend to be really safe doing this build. Fast Expand has become a really standard play. It's perfected almost. They know exactly where to place that pylon.
You know, that's really interesting because it wasn't perfected, right? We're still discovering new things about the meta today.
Where to place that forge. But it looks like Yarnak is building several Zerglings. I think he is sending 8 Zerglings. 8 speed upgraded Zerglings, and they're approaching the base right now, but he sees that photon cannon, he sees that Zealot and Dragoon and those pulled probes, and there is no way that those Zerglings will be able to go in to do a surround. Really, that gate...
So, it is interesting. I don't have enough game knowledge to comment on who's ahead, who's behind back then, and now is still a little bit tough, especially without the timers and the supply, but You'll notice it's a lot of play-by-play commentary.
The way that forge placement is going to prevent any major Zergling bust unless Yarnak commits more fully, but I doubt that he will. Meanwhile, he is going for that Hydrogen. I think we can probably expect something like Mass Hydralisk. A lot of Zergs go for this build recently. They go for that early
Oh, 2 Stargate.
fire for Scourge just to take out any Corsairs, the really annoying Corsairs that are currently taking out that Overlord. Strangely enough, I'm not sure if
I think it's actually a problem in cast when you're too biased for your race. Like, it's a little bit of a detractor. In my opinion, it is.
Songho should be doing that Overlord sniping. I think he should be scouting with those Corsairs. He has, in the meantime, built another Stargate. I think we're going to see a lot of Corsairs right now. I'm not sure how beneficial of a tactic.
Oh, right, Andromeda has the island, as Keem was saying. So, double Stargate is probably common here.
That is, if Yarnak had gone Mutalisks,
That's a very early 4th. Holy crap, that's a very early 4th.
that might have been a better idea, 2-gate Corsairs. But at this point, that's not as necessary. Songho has dedicated quite a few cannons to his main base as well, just to get rid of any Mutalisks, even though Yarnak has switched gears into Hydralisks, and those Scourge are valiantly scouting. Scourge play a dual role, really, for the Zerg player. They both scout and kill pesky Corsairs. They're so cute. Look at them flying around for Yarnak, sacrificing their...
I think I was really playing up the I'm a girl card. I'm so sorry. Cause, like, I don't think these Scourge are that cute. Why am I calling them cute? It's because I have nothing to say and I'm panicking.
lives. They're beautiful. They're very beautiful creatures, I think. Anyway,
Or maybe I'm just an 18-year-old. I'll be kind to myself.
just so that I didn't miss it earlier, Songho did place that Citadel of Idun. We might see the Bisu build. We might see that.
I don't know if we can call this the Bisu build. I think the Bisu build means something very specific, and during this era of YouTube casting, like, you would call everything a Bisu build. You see a Corsair and it's like, it's the Bisu build.
That combination of Corsair
So the biggest thing that I didn't notice, I think, in this cast is it's double Stargate, and that matters a lot.
and DTs. Yarnak does have that wonderful little Zergling concave waiting for probe scouts just to keep Songho from realizing that he has gone Mass Hydralisk. Unfortunately, this group of Corsairs is going to meet a whole lot of Hydralisks. Hydralisko! Corsair! But
I'm actually happy I did that. I don't think it was cringe. That brought a smile to my face.
anyway, these Corsairs are doing quite a lot of damage to those Overlords. That's a problem with Hydralisks, I think, is that they have no mobility. You have to commit yourself to a couple of spore colonies, which Yarnak is doing right now, just because Hydralisks don't move very well. Even though they are moving right now, they're moving out towards Songho's base. We'll have to see if Songho has enough to...
I'm not bad at the transition thing. I don't know if this is something I do all the time, but like, oh, Hydras are not that mobile, except they're moving right now. I'm like, good job.
Sense. I don't know if he has enough photon cannons. He sees this though. We can see it in his first person VOD. He sees it and he is frantically building those photon cannons. He probably will be prepared. And this is really why intelligence is so important. Those Scourge told Yarnak.
Ah! Oh, part 2 of 2. Let's go. I was just starting to get into this game, guys.
Scourge told Yarnak what Songho had, and those Corsairs...
You can hear how nervous you are while pushing through this cast. It adds something. Yeah. Yeah, you can.
told Songho what Yarnak had.
Oh, Diggity, random Korean is here. You should say hi.
That's kind of an exchange. Corsairs for Scourge. What a lovely trade. Anyway, those Hydralisks are engaging right now. They are taking down the photon cannons, but there is Hydralisk blood everywhere. There is not enough. There's not enough Hydras to be able to take down those cannons.
I talk a lot about blood.
And there is a DT out. There are two...
But I think that was kind of, like, I learned a lot of casting from watching, like, the Big Four, Generation 1, and I think you guys talked about blood a lot. Oh, hi Inkjet, how's it going? 12 years ago, hydro busting was still a thing. I don't know. This is playing out reasonably similar to a modern day ZVP. The biggest differences I see so far is a different Sim City, and especially on the Zerg side. We saw Scourge, right? Yeah, we saw Scourge. The biggest thing is
DTs.
I think I thought this game was a lot more about like the hidden Hydralisk tech, but this is just playing out pretty normally.
Out. We are seeing the Bisu build right here, right now. And this might actually be effective because those overlords are all clumped towards those spore colonies. Yarnak might be frightened into not having overlords all over the map as he needs, but luckily at this expansion of his, I should have mentioned that earlier, Yarnak has expanded to the bottom left. I think I may have. But at the bottom left, he does have those overlords waiting. He has a spore colony mutating right now for those Dark Templars, and those Dark Templars have no chance.
So, in my opinion, the best part about this game so far is like the really early fourth, possibly in response to the double Stargate, and just going Hydras after the first initial Scourge. Oh yeah, Random is one of the OG people who went to Protobarcraft. Is he the guy who you weren't sure you should mention? Oh, Inkjet just finished his Games for BSL ladder. That's amazing. By the way, BSL, sign up now. Oh, Prima Dog. I remember Prima Dog.
It was a good idea, though,
Prima Dog reminds me of Jin Jin for some reason.
I think, because Corsair DTs are very effective. It scares the Zerg player into not using their overlords, and then the Dark Templars can just sneak in and wreak havoc among drones. Unfortunately, Songho's Dark Templars will not live to see their first drone slain, unfortunately. Anyway,
I think that was cute. That was me talking myself into a corner I couldn't get my way out of, but I think that was cute.
how Songho has transitioned into building that Templar army with a couple, I'm not sure how many zealots he has, I don't know if he has any. Those Dark Templar will get thwarted by that veritable Hydralisk Overlord army. But yes, he has gone for a lot of Templars. It is probably an extremely good idea.
It just feels like to me, Songho has nothing. And I feel like in a modern day CVP, Protoss is much more of a threat if he's allowed to, you know, just, in this case, it would be a 3-base timing.
Seeing that there are so many Hydralisks, there's
I guess he overinvested in Corsairs. That's my read on this game. He overinvested in the double Stargate and didn't really get anything done, and none of his DTs got any work done either.
very little he can do right now. He only has cannons. He has no units, because this is really how the Protoss player plays due to a fast expand. They build up their economic advantage, they get as greedy as possible, and then they start to mute in the gateways and produce units after units, and at that point they can produce such a large concentration of Protoss units that they can pretty much destroy any amount of Zerg units. But Yarnak is doing a Hydralisk drop, and this is an interesting feature of Andromeda. Unfortunately for those Corsairs, they went in completely the wrong direction. But this is interesting about Andromeda. They have this little exposed cliffside kind of contained area contained by those power generators, and once you destroy those power generators you can just come right in, and this is partially the downfall of fast expand Protoss. You have so many cannons at the front, but you have nothing in the back, and Songho has nothing in the back. He can take that
Songho has nothing in the back. What am I saying? Cool. Yeah, from a really high overview, I can tell that I don't have a lot of game knowledge because I'm saying the same thing over and over again in like different ways. Like, Protoss expands first and then builds up an army, and it could be a 2-base or it could be a 3-base, or anyway. I know much less about the meta, you can tell.
he can take down the Templar archives. I wonder if Storm is upgraded yet. I don't know, but Songho
It's a big deal! I should be a lot more excited about that. I should be like, oh my god, the Templar archives went down. That's critical.
Will need that storm. He'll need a lot of brilliant storms, and that was a brilliant storm, but a brilliant pull by
No.
Yarnak. That was another brilliant storm and pull. Both players are doing extremely well, actually. And here is a lurker drop by Yarnak in the back of his base, and I don't think Songho has observers
screwed.
quite yet. The timing probably isn't right yet. So he
Songho's
has
so
lurkers. He's
screwed. This is
wreaking
just
havoc
GG.
on the natural expansion. Songho cannot mine at the natural expansion. This is looking extremely bad for Songho.
But as a caster, it's
And
always
those
hard.
hydralists really need
I will say it's always hard when a game has been lost and someone has a fantasy GG timing. How do you make the decision? Do you talk about the game like GG is inevitable, or do you talk about it as if you're that player and you're like, you can still fight this, you can still win this?
to be doing something, even though that Yarnak is in the lead right now. He can't just have those hydralists dancing around with each other. Poor AI by those hydralists. Anyway, there are more hydralists coming in from the front. I'm wondering if he'll try to do a two-pronged attack now that the actual front of the base is exposed. That storm will probably take care of most of those hydralists. Those overlords are also going to be chased down by those.
I'm wondering when I said the brilliant storm followed by the brilliant pull, I think it was because I was like, oh damn, the brilliant storm was not so brilliant. How do I save this? And I giggled at myself.
Corsairs. But anyway, I'm wondering if he will do a two-pronged attack. Probably not a good idea because there are just so many cannons at the front. In the meantime, Luxury...
Again, it's the probably just being a little bit uncertain. I don't think I see the game plan for Zerg. I don't have the forward thinking that I do now from playing a lot more games and understanding what your kind of goals are throughout the game, right? Because you don't have to kill him dead. Zerg is just very ahead, and if I had the confidence of game knowledge, I would say something like that, like Zerg's very ahead right now. All he has to do, I mean, he's already done it, is secure his 5th. He macros behind this. Protoss is dead in the water unless, I don't know, I mean, maybe if every storm connects.
Sorry, Luxury and Yarnak are quite similar looking, so I have trouble distinguishing them. Anyway, Yarnak is going for Hive Tech. He might actually switch over into Defilators and Zerglings, Cracklings. Cracklings are very useful, especially when they have adrenaline gland boost
That's the definition of a crackling girl.
and metabolic speed. And here comes another drop from Yarnak. This time, right in front of the pylon. He gets the pylon. None of those gateways are powered right now. I don't think. Maybe some of them,
I
the
think
bottom
some of
two,
them
are probably powered. But unfortunately, that storm takes out all those hydralisks. That would have been a wonderful attack by... Oh, there is
Like, I was like, oh, he got the pylon! Like, I don't even think he got the pylon.
another pylon. Sorry, I got a little bit excited there. Many Protoss players have learned to put a pylon,
Nice lurker.
more than one pylon near the gateways, I think, after a couple of Pro League games where some people were beaten just because
So a
the
lot
pylon
of, I
was
think,
broken.
probably...
Anyway, Yarnak is in an extremely
Anyways.
decisively advantageous position right now. He's
Okay.
pumping out of 6 hatcheries. He's getting Hive Tech. He has both bases, all 3 bases actually, in the bottom left corner. So it's going to be soon 6 base Zerg to...
Also, may I just say, it's like impossible to tell what's happening on the minimap because resolution is like 240p or whatever. So, we can forgive ourselves for some lack of minimap awareness here.
3 base Protoss, and those 3 bases aren't even really saturated by probes anymore because of those lurkers. There are lurkers pounding at the front. These Corsairs are doing too little too late. Those overlords aren't really necessary because Yarnak's economy is just so strong right now, and that gateway will probably go down. That forge might actually go down. Songho is in so much trouble. I don't really know what he's planning to do. He is building those pylons for early detection of any future drops, but it doesn't look like it's going to discover this drop, which is another lurker drop. Another brilliant lurker drop, and 2 probes go down. It prevents mining from that natural expansion yet again. No gas
Stop
for
saying
poor
it.
Songho. No gas at all. And really, Songho hasn't been really playing that well. I mean, I guess he has been playing decently well, but the problem is he's been too content to sit back in his base.
No, Songho's just screwed. He made a mistake at some point. He made some mistakes, but It's not like he's not playing well from here, it's just like he's super behind.
This is a problem, I think, with most FE Fast Expand Protoss players
No, I don't think I can make a generalization like that. That's insane.
nowadays when they're playing Zerg. They're so content to just build a couple cannons at their front, build up their army.
Actually, I'm ahead of my time. Forge Fast Expand is more passive. Gate FE became a response, I believe, to 9734, like early Hydra busts. And so now Protosses are acting a lot more aggressive with Zealots. There are a lot more timings with Gate FE. So I might be ahead of my time.
You know, just hang out in their base and build up their army while the Zerg player kind of, I don't know, languishes outside. And there are
Languishes, I like it.
two brilliant storms, but Songho will need extremely brilliant storms
I need to stop saying that word.
to clean this up. I think he will be able to clean it up with a couple more storms and those Zealots. There are Zerglings
Next time we just start a hazelnut bingo. The words are brilliant. Anyways. Probably. Cute and Bisou.
in that mix.
And we drink.
Now, almost a lot of units are being just thrown into Songho's base, catapulted, boomeranged into
I love that I'm giggling at myself for coming up with synonyms. I'm so pleased with myself.
Songho's back door. But anyway, this is a problem with Fast Expand Protoss, I think, because they don't really have an army in the beginning, and if the Zerg player just doesn't sit back, if the Zerg player chooses not to sit back, not to just macro, but also brings the battle to the front, and here is Yarnak bringing the battle
Oh, I love that. Lurkers on the low ground.
to the front yet again with those lurkers at the bottom. That was kind of clever. Unfortunately for Yarnak, Songho was paired by a couple of
I guess this is kind of just how Andromeda plays out. I'm wondering, like, why has Songho not left this game yet? But it is true that you have 3 bases to yourself. You're not going to mine out at 18 minutes. And you can have the front very well defended. And theoretically, you can have your other 2 bases, main and third, pretty well defended.
cannons. But yeah, Yarnak has been doing such
Hey,
a good
fresh
job
Turkish
of bringing
delights.
the battle
Yeah, I'm
to
trying to get you guys
the
wasted.
Protoss. The Protoss has not been able to concentrate to get that crazy
Welcome to 2009.
army of Protoss units, that crazy mixture of Dragoons, Zealots, so on. And because of it, he hasn't really been able to move out. He hasn't been able to prevent any expansions. And here he is trying to move out. I think he may be successful. There aren't that many Zerg units.
This is just such a different meta, or I guess it's just a different game style, but I feel like if you were like a modern day Zerg, you might establish a lurker contain. I'm honestly a little bit surprised. Like, you expand everywhere you have a lurker contain? Like, is that not viable? Like,
Outside right now, outside
it could just be Yarnak being more committed to drops than anything.
at his base, and there are Zealots and Dragoons, plenty of them to counter against these Hydras and Lurkers. And I could have sworn that Yarnak had more units than this. Where is his unit count? I'm just wondering
Where are his unit No, I'm just kidding.
where his units are sitting in his base.
Wait, where's his... Oh, there we
And
go.
oh, here we are. Here are Yarnak's units, and here are those crazy cracklings, those chogaling hydralisco.
No,
Mutalis-
stop!
no,
Once is enough!
Mutalis- sorry. But anyway, jogon.
Oh my god. I need to go crawl in a hole and die again. I pulled the same jokes. Oh my god.
Those cracklings are going to take down that nexus. They are taking it down. Those gateways might even go down. I'm not sure. This
Girl, don't say I'm not sure.
Zealot Dragoon army will probably take down those Zerglings, but it is far too late for Songho to be able to come back into this game, I think. It is 6 base Zerg to 3 base Protoss. There are units coming out as, I think, a last-ditch
Mary.
effort to combat this Zerg army. I don't think Yarnak should be
No, the GG's
engaging right
coming.
now, though, because Zerg armies don't really want to
probably
engage
mined out.
Protoss armies unless they are of that size, of Songho's pitiful size, because
he's
of
not
all
mined
the
out.
wonderful harass that Yarnak has been doing.
GG!
And it is GG from Ryan Shield.
I think Inkjet, I think, had a really good comment. Like, the best casters, they talk about the situation, how bad the situation is, but when the GG comes, you are ready to be like, and GG! All right, let's see what my post-game analysis is. In another 10 years, your even wiser self will critique this critic of your commentary. That'd be so funny.
Or Song Ho. And I guess OGN Sparkies wins this match. OGN, good job to the underdog of the Pro League
OGN was the underdog? I thought, Keen, didn't you say Eastro was bad?
season. Although Eastro could possibly be considered even more of an underdog, they're probably the underdog of underdogs, being 10th in the season.
Oh,
Anyway,
Eastro!
good job to Yarnak. Good job. I really liked his playstyle actually. Most Zergvi Protoss games on Andromeda out of all maps are really heavily macro based, are really boring. Mostly players just let each other macro up. They're content to let each other macro up. But Yarnak,
I don't think I would ever use the word boring to describe anything in StarCraft. Like, if I'm thinking of myself as a professional caster, which clearly I'm not, but I think it's really important to say, like, games are not boring. I would say something like, you know, incremental, slower paced, and then, which is not everyone's cup of tea. I could say something like that, but I wouldn't want to, like, attach so much value judgment to the adjectives I use.
was not. Yarnak brought his game. He started pouring in Hydras, pouring in
Aw.
Lurkers, using every
Thank you, Teddy Bear. Thanks for joining, and thanks for modding, and thanks for the congratulations for our B rank.
single unit, cracklings, overlords, and just
Have a
kicking
nice
butt and
night.
taking names. Good job, Yarnak. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my commentary.
Anyway.
Please keep leaving suggestions and comments. They are really helpful. I hope I didn't say as many this game. Anyway,
I'm so nervous. Listen to my nervous giggle. I hope I didn't say as many this game. I can't. Oh, you poor girl. It's hard. When you're younger, you're self-conscious, and it took me 12 years to loosen up. Okay, let's take a look at the comments. Commentating is improving. Thank you. Aww. Your best commentary yet. Well done. You've got your under control now. I like your voice. It's soft and clear. You sound like a fun person. Aww. Oh. Alright, I approached this with an open mind, and this was really subpar. Guys, I have to admit that this is 12 years ago, and it wounded like 1% of me. It took like 5 HP off of my hatchery. Young commentating Hazy was amazing. Oh, thanks, Sir Techie. Compared to brave, empowered Hazley now. Keen says, one time back in the day, I tried commentating a replay, and I just ended up sitting there silently watching for the first 2 minutes. I was like, what the fuck am I even doing? Game up. Oh, you poor thing. Oh. Do you like that? Do you guys do that? So, all right. I don't know if this will get to my this comment, YouTube comment, but all right, I approached this with an open mind, and this is really subpar. And I reply, I'm B ranked. 12 years later. Oh, I'm dying. See, like, people love different things. Like, I hate the impersonations of Korean commentators because I was just trying too hard. I didn't really have game knowledge to offer, so I was... But some people like it. Yellow had a great run this game. He didn't let up. When you relax, a lot of your problems go away. No loud screaming. I actually do like that. I think having more female casters in sports and esports is important because it just offers a different energy. And, you know, we can talk about female, male, non-binary, but we do have a certain like gendered approach to voice and behavior, demeanor, and I have to say I'm like less aggressive, generally speaking. I'm never really gonna shout like oh no. I would scream. You've heard me scream several times today. Um, I kind of miss the ums. All right. Good to see this. Good to see this. I am going to use the restroom. It's been a while now. It is 5:10 p.m. What's going to be really exciting tonight is that we're going to end this day of StarCraft with a group watch of Ping Pong the animation. It's available for purchase on Prime, and I'm going to share that link with all of you. We cannot stream it on Twitch. Okay? We cannot stream it on Twitch. But we will be in Discord, and I will share my screen. And we can chat in the live comments. I don't think I'll have my voice, unless you guys really want it, but we're going to watch Ping Pong together. At least a couple episodes. I'm not sure when I want to stop watching, but yeah. So I'll be right back, and don't go anywhere. We potentially have more commentating to go through. We could really take it either way. I allocated 15 more minutes. Anyway, be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome. How did I say? Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. This is Hazley Nut coming at you with another audio commentary. That's where I spoke. That was my 18-year-old voice. There was a lot of energy. Okay. Now, we have a couple of options. Okay, I have to show you guys this. I bet it's this video. Let's go take a look. No, this is so funny. Okay, this is not what I thought it would be. But this is an esports TV show, drama. Okay, Daily Motion, Princeton, and MIT. I was talking about this in my, hey, where is it? Oh, here. I was talking about this in the just chatting portion of the stream, talking about esports history. And this is one of the videos we made to promote Princeton versus MIT. Hey, Zero! Thanks so much for the raid of 128. Welcome, BSL viewers. I am Hazelnut, and I have a treat for you. Wait. Okay.
When this began, I had nothing to say, and I'd get lost in the nothingness inside of me. I was confused, and I let it all out to find that I'm not the only person with these things in mind. But all the vacancy the words revealed is the only real thing that I've got left to feel. Just stuck.
Oh, thanks for the follow, Circling.
The fault is my own, and the fault is my own. I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real. I wanna let go of the pain I felt so long. Erase all the things in the skull. I wanna heal, I wanna feel like I'm close to something real. I wanna find something I wanted all along. Somewhere I belong.
And that was it. I think MIT had a version of their own. But I wanted to just point out a couple of things. Okay, I'm going to mute this in case I get DMCA'd. That hair flip again. That hair flip. Okay, this. In this picture, this man is holding a hamburger in his hand, and we photoshopped it out so that he would look really angsty. But he's literally, there's a hamburger. Okay, what else? The other thing is that this player, Aishi, he wouldn't come to all the meetings. So, this is actual Aishi. And this is not the same person. And this is a third person. So that was 3 different people because we just didn't get enough footage. So it was really hilarious to make this. I think that's pretty much it. And this is my 2v2 partner, Raime. We're still really good friends. Alright. So we have that. You commented that match? Nice. Diggity. Thanks so much for the follows. See ya, Poker. Inkjet Printer, I know you. Yeah, all right, nice circling. For the raid, 0. For those of you who are from BSL, I'm Hazelnut. I am officially a B rank Zerg, although I queued up against a lot of Zergs today who all left the game. I got like 100, 200 points for free. So I don't really count this as true B rank, but we'll take the win, you know? I'm just parading it around now. I'm a B rank Zerg, but really I'm more like a C rank, occasionally a D rank Zerg. I own all of my MMR. I'm doing a fun weekend of StarCraft. We played our first BSL matches on ladder. Thanks for the follow, Marty Magpie. Bold Debel Go, why do you think you're the worst here again? B rank icon acquired, that's right. Pesky Zergus, that's me Saber. I played in BSL Season 12, but I think I'm Chobo. I'm Super Chobo League. I played, I want to say, in Season 11 as well. I played in a season, and I went 0 and, 10, but it was a really great experience. I'm so thankful that Bombastic Star League exists in the community, and I was able to return to it. I had to drop out last season, I want to say, because I had family issues. But now I am back, and I've been trying to come to Brew War with a more competitive mindset. I played StarCraft and I did a lot of tournament organizing back in 2009, as you can see here. But I made more videos and did more tournament admin work than I actually played the game. So for the past 2 years, I've been on and off incorporating StarCraft as a hobby of mine and trying to improve with a good mindset without getting burned out. And now I'm returning to some of the old stuff that we used to make, or like a YouTube cast. And right now I was doing a reaction video to my 18-year-old self casting StarCraft. And I think it's been pretty fun. All right, so let us continue. What else do I want to show you guys? We can look at my YouTube. We could look at another game. If you see something that stands out, we'll do it. A big thing about my casting back in the day, though, was I was willing to do mirror matches. I really was. All right. I don't think this... let's take a look. This was the outtakes for that video we just watched.
Okay, all right, anytime you're ready. Anytime you're ready. Oh, shit. Just kidding. Shit. Come to the bottom step and do something. Jizz in your pants. 8.
Do you guys remember that? Jizz in your pants? It was huge in 2009. Don't worry, Bull. I'm C rank. We're okay.
Like, do whatever. Okay, so... Fuck. Outtakes. Oh, I recorded that. Okay. Right. Walk. 5, 6. Okay. What? It doesn't just.
All right. That guy, he wasn't even on the StarCraft team.
Yes. Ah, punch. Let's try and talk to each other. Alright, last week I saw a film. Oh, was it a horror film? I don't know, it might have been a horror film. As I recall, it might have been a horror film. Oh, shit. Did you walk outside into the rain? Yeah, into the rain and,
Do you guys remember this? It's so 2009.
1, 2, 2. Bowen, scoot in more inside Mona. Okay.
I was really uncomfortable with that. It was pretty funny.
New actor! Love the camera! Whoa, love the camera! Love the camera! Do something! A challenger appears! A challenger. Yeah, that's... It's Gutsman's ass!
But this is the best one. Do you guys know what's about to happen? So, for those of you who weren't around in 2009, that was the Firebat Hero dance. And that player, he was one of our better players. He played Protoss, Daisy, and he was actually part of a dance troupe too. So that was pretty cool. I want to see what their Princeton, MIT, StarCraft video. I want to see if MIT had a video, because we see this one, and that's us. But I know... What? Who is this? Why did you say StarCraft? Time wasters! What are you saying? StarCraft is the next chess. Go away. There was a question in chat, are my parents disappointed that I'm not S rank yet? I'm disappointed that I'm not S rank yet. And I think if my parents knew what it was, yeah, they would be disappointed. Let me show you something. Ready? Hold up as I load it up. I'm just showing you anything that, it's kind of turning into just chatting about StarCraft. What was I going to show you? It was, All right, my letter to my grandparents. Let me see. I wrote a Chinese letter to my grandparents because they're deaf. Like, one of them is deaf now. So on the phone call, I can't really communicate that much. So you guys probably don't read Mandarin. However, this is the paragraph of import. As you'll notice, I explain the ranking system. I explain my goal. I want to reach S rank. And I said that I have gone from E to C rank at the time of this letter. And I explained that I stream now. I tried to include a picture. What was kind of funny, because I inherited a lot of this, like, oh, how do I please my grandparents? How do I make my parents happy? And as you know, Chinese and immigrant families, first generation families, are notoriously difficult to please. You always want to be better, you know? You always want to give them face. It's a Chinese concept, but I think it exists in a couple of different cultures. So, like, even now, while I'm on this journey to improve at Brew War for myself, you know, there's a little part of me that's like, S rank or go home. You're worth F rank. You're worth 0 MMR points until you're S rank. And that's simply not true. It's kind of funny how our brains interpret things sometimes. All right. We have about 30 minutes left. I think it would be fun to watch one more commentary from back in the day. Let's see. Commentary bear. Oh, these are pretty cool. These were not really casts. I also did StarCraft 2 cast, but I don't know anything about StarCraft 2 anymore. After a certain point, I started doing like deadlifts and stuff. And it's really funny because it's actually hilarious, because this was like the first. Huh? Yeah, it's just funny because I have like 660 views on a squat form check, and I'm like, why? All right. This is just my personal YouTube. I have no aspirations. All right, let's go watch. Should we watch some Jaedong versus Effort? You guys probably won't like that. We could watch Foreigner, but Gosu. Jaedong versus Stella? Who's Stella? Oh, I know. We can watch the Savior Nalra one I made. No? Oh, you know, Savior is kind of excommunicated, but that's okay.
Hey guys, this is Cholera. I'm with Hazel here, and this.
All right, so let's continue the commentator idle action. We might not finish this by 6 p.m. We're going to do a watch party. Let me just let you guys know that. So, ping pong is the command. Done. Ready? Ping pong. Discord. We're gonna join that watch party, okay? And when stream goes offline, we're all gonna be in that watch party, and it might just be me, but maybe Keen will be there because Keen recommended it. It's gonna feel bad if we hate it, but we're not gonna hate it. And it's built in. It's not supported by Twitch watch parties yet, but it's like supported by Amazon watch parties, so we can chat, and we can also chat in Discord. So I think we'll be okay. You do have to purchase Ping Pong in order to watch Ping Pong, the animation. And first, let me tell you why we're watching it. It's because it is a sports anime. And watching sports animes makes me so excited about sports, like StarCraft. And I was feeling a little bit demotivated, and I remembered when I just finished watching Haikyuu, which is purely about volleyball. I was so pumped to play StarCraft. Like, there's a scene in Haikyuu where the main protagonist, he just wants to win. He's really short, which is bad for volleyball, but he really wants to win. And at some point, one of the side characters asks him, "So, where do you get the desire to win from? Where do you get your motivation?" And the main character just like tilts his head. He's like, "Huh? Isn't it just kind of like hunger? You just get hungry?" I've never thought about it before. And I was like, damn. Like, look at us chobos walking around being like, where am I going to get the motivation to overcome my anxiety on ladder? Whereas this protagonist, he channels an athlete, and I strive to be this character of Haikyuu. So I'm told that Ping Pong the animation has similar vibes, so we're gonna watch it, and we're gonna learn from it. We're gonna learn an athlete's mindset, how to approach competition, and we're also just gonna have fun, okay? Not everything is about learning. Stuff is also about fun. But anyway, Discord, you can join ahead of time because we're gonna go offline around like 6:15, okay? All right, let's watch this.
This is part of the SC2GG Commentator Idol Challenge for this week. Hazel has just been told that she is going to have to cast Savior versus Naura in set 2 of their finals that they played in the Pringles 1 MSL in July of 2006. She was just told a minute ago. All she has had a chance to do is take a look at the map, which is Rush
I
Hour 3.
was just told a minute ago.
This is part of course, of the surprise commentary series that we're making the remaining 3 contestants go through.
Surprise commentary.
And when you're watching this, do note that this is a surprise commentary for Hazel and, of course, for the other contestants. And they have not had a chance to look at the results, nor have they really studied these games at all. They've just been told a minute ago that this is the game they're doing. So do consider that while watching and evaluating their commentaries. All right, we're going to begin now.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everyone. This is Hazel bringing to you an exciting, intriguing, invigorating, alliterative commentary this week for Commentator Idol.
What am I doing? I have this really bad habit of saying all the synonyms.
Week will be a historical commentary, so for those of you who don't really know what that is, we won't be saying anything about the Congress of Vienna or the Battle of Waterloo. What we're going to be looking at is a game from 2006.
Congress of Battle of Vienna? I was a total nerd. I don't remember what those things are. I have some respect for that.
Savior versus Now Raw, the Maestro versus Dreamer turn.
Look at
And
his
what I really
glasses!
like about these old games of StarCraft is just how, there's so much to like about old StarCraft. First of all, you learn so much about the history of the game itself. You can also see the evolution in the metagame of StarCraft. And also, NBC and on GameNet somehow decided that it was a good idea to dress their players up in crazy costumes. Now Ra particularly looks like someone from space. I think they were trying to go with the star of the StarCraft theme.
I don't think they're actually in costume. I've seen Boxer in costume, but I think they're wearing normal clothes, but they're wearing gunners or something.
Anyway, today we have Savior playing as, I don't know what the color is, but he's playing as Zerg at the 2 o'clock position, and we have Now Ra spawning as Protoss, I think it's yellow or orange, the video quality is not that great, in the bottom left. This is Rush Hour 3, so this is a map that we've seen in Pro League recently. It's pretty balanced between Zerg and Protoss, as I can see. You have basically these...
Look at that computer! Look at that monitor! Oh, this is so 2006.
long, circuitous tracks in Rush Hour 3. It makes Terran v Terran play really interesting, but we'll have to see what it does to Zerg versus Protoss. Now, this is really interesting. Those computers are
There's a new bingo word for the drinking game. Interesting.
huge. Wow, I have not seen a computer that large
It's not a computer, it's a monitor, girl. I made the same mistake just now.
in 2 years. But this is interesting. Okay, Savior is going for a 9 pool. That's not what we exactly see in Zerg v Protoss nowadays. Well, it is what we see, but a lot of Zerg players do choose to go for the 12 hatch because they know that their counterpart will build a Forge Fast Expand. So this will be interesting just to see what Savior goes for. Back then, I don't know if 2 years can count as back then, but a
Try 12 years.
lot of players went for one base games, depended a lot more on micro, and now Raw puts down a pylon, blocking that the natural expansion, so Savior won't be able to get his 12 hatch. He'll probably place it down at a different location unless Nalra cancels it, but Savior will be behind because Nalra is going to go for his own Nexus, although if Savior gets these Zerglings out on time, maybe he can just surprise Nalra. Maybe he will be able to. I'm not sure if he will be able to. The pro will scout Savior's Zerglings, so Savior doesn't have the element of surprise right now. Nalra knows perfectly well to build a cannon, and he does build a cannon. So Savior is probably just going to take down this pylon, try to...
So here I think that it seems like I'm just lacking knowledge of the matchup, because now if I look at this, I'm like, okay, 9 pool and a pylon scout. What we're probably going to see, right? Probably 6 lings, and those 6 lings, if they can reach the base before cannon gets up, it can do a lot of damage. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. 9 pull is good against 12 necks. 9 pull forces out cannon, 2 cannons. It's usually bad if you're scouted first doing a 9 pull. All of those things. I think I couldn't, in this cast, I couldn't decide what those lings were for.
to get his 12 hatch down before it really delays him any longer. He does seem to be committing a lot to Zerglings though, so we might...
Okay guys, not only are the boosts hilarious, but the boost girls were kind of hilarious. Definitely not PC, did not age well, but I remember there being a meme back on Team Liquid, because you would watch these competitions, right? And there was a meme that one of the booth girls was cursed because whoever was in her booth would lose. It was so funny.
See not a run by, but we might see him do some sort of damage to Nara, but these cannons should be up in time. Nara should put a few probes in place though, so that the Zerglings can't get by. Savior is going through the bottom route, and let's see what he can do.
I don't actually know this map. I think it's a 3-player
Yeah,
map.
StarCraft from the olden days, if you would like to call it the olden days, is actually...
Look at this. Look at this open. There's no choke, so you have to forge fast expand in this way.
Interesting, just because StarCraft was so raw back then. This has only been 2 years since, but 2 years has been a lot for the development of StarCraft. This does seem to be more of a modern game style. You do have the Forge Fast Expand Protoss, and you do have the expanding Zerg player. There are 2 expansions going up for Savior, by the way. He is going 3 hatch. I think this is probably going to be more of a Hydra build if it gets that far, because usually if you go 3 hatch mutas, you would put your hatchery inside the expansion rather than at the middle.
What? Oh, this might be true based on meta. It might be true that if you're intending to build a hatchery at every base, rather than like an in-base hatch, that you're going... I don't know. I can't speak to this. This is more about meta.
Only if you put it at the middle, only you're expecting to, I don't know, maybe use some more...
Yeah, this is Rush Hour.
So Savior wasn't able to do anything with his Zerglings, and right now, Nalra looks like he's in the lead with his econ. Nalra was able to just delay that hatchery for a little bit. Only now is Savior able to expand, and he is compensating a little bit by getting 2 expansions instead of 1.
You know what I need? I need the confidence of a white man. Like, what I'm saying is not incorrect. Some of this was not incorrect. What did I say? I said, Savior's ahead. Yeah. Savior pulled out a play, 9 pool, and Nalra was not punished for it and defended appropriately. And I think it's true. 9 pool versus Forge and 2 cannons. That does no damage. Zerg is behind. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Meanwhile, Savior is just chasing out this probe. He's having a bit of trouble with that probe, actually. And yeah, so just some basic information about these players. I don't know that much about these players. Nalra is a commentator for either NBC or on GameNet now.
Really?
And he is an interesting commentator. Over here, he looks kind of like spacey with his mirror shades, but now he looks kind of
he looks like a little cute dork. Sorry for all the Nalra fans out there who think he's hardcore, but
Why would
he
I
really
say
is
that about
just, he looks so
Nara?
precious, like a precious little Korean boy.
I don't like using the word problematic, but I think a lot of my views were problematic at the time. I'm so focused on appearance.
And Savior is actually still in the
It's just because I have nothing to say. I've got nothing.
gaming scene. Savior is also getting a layer, but Savior has been slumping for a while, but now he's made a promise to destroy everyone in 2009, and it looks like he's actually.
That breaks my heart. This was before the Savior scandal, and in 2009 he came to BlizzCon and he told everyone, "I promise to destroy everyone." He was in a slump, and then he came to us foreigners and we idolized him, and then there was a match fixing scandal with him later, so what do you call this? He's like a persona non grata, I think.
Keeping up with that promise. Something that I read about Savior actually was that
Tori no Uta, young Hazelnut is casting. This is an 18-year-old version of me.
he played Flash on IC Cup by accident. He just played an anonymous player on IC Cup, and he was able to keep an even game with Flash, who is so good at Terran v Zerg and also Terran v anything. So that builds a lot of promise for Savior. Now
I do like the fact that I know this much about the players. I do like that we know that Nalra's Commentator and Savior was at BlizzCon and played in IC Cup against Flash.
Nalra is going for a Citadel of a Dune, so we may see either +1 Leg Zealots, or we might see Dark Templars. He did not go for a Corsair, though. That's a divergence, I think, from the actual Protoss play that we see nowadays. Nowadays, maybe there is a Stargate. Oh no, 2 gateways. So usually we see a Stargate and a Corsair for scouting, but Nalra is opting for more aggressive ground push. By the way, Savior did go for a Hydralisk den, so we will be seeing probably maybe 5 hatch Hydras if Savior chooses to add a few.
I think we saw a layer and then a den, right? So this is a completely different meta. Well, it's not that different. But I think there's enough differences between this and how we play nowadays that my game knowledge is not 100% here.
Few more Hydras. That Overlord will go down by Savior, though. I think Savior was sacrificing that Overlord just to get some idea of what's going on in Nalra's base. Because StarCraft really is about that. It's about mind games, about knowing what your opponent is going, about countering what your opponent does at the right
Good point. I think we sound like two different people now.
times. So Nalra will be going for just a lot of Zealots, a lot of Templar, probably. He is getting +1, so we might see just one of those Zealot pushes that were in the trivia questions, actually. So a Dragoon is also out, but this Dragoon will get taken down by these Zerglings. Savior is kind of losing a lot of his Overlords, and he needs to not do that, because if you lose Overlords really early in the game, you're set back so much. You don't want to get Overlord blocked.
So there's no Zergling speed. So we saw a layer into Den, and I don't know how many Hydras are because the resolution's so bad, but no Zergling speed. Are we gonna see some other usage of that gas?
Just like in PvP, how you don't want to get pylon blocked, you don't want to get supply blocked, essentially. How did these Zerglings get... Oh no, I thought that the Zerglings were in the main base for a second, but they're not. Alright.
You poor child. She's so nervous, I can tell. Okay.
So, Savior is going for the Hydra build. He will be getting as many drones as he can until the timing
Doesn't this look like lurkers, though? Let's see.
is right. Because that's basically what any player does, what Zerg players do, especially because of their larva management.
Yeah, boy! 12 years later, Hazelnut can spot a lurker build, and I don't even see a lot of this. Honestly, I don't play this way because I don't see the pro gamers playing this way. I think it makes sense on a map like Rush Hour 3. Like, the cannons are behind the Nexus. I wonder how frequent this was back in the day in 2006. What else? The giveaways here were no Zergling speed, early layer and a den, and not much else. The money's got to be going somewhere.
Lurker is coming out. Actually, this is
a good counter to the Zealot +1 Zealot push. I think Saber might have scouted it. Now the leg speed is up. Will Saber be able to just prevent this? He has a few Sunkens. Will he be ready is the thing. Saber is already up 1, but will he be able to continue to keep his lead in this best of 5? And so many Zealots are coming up. There are 2 Sunkens though, and 5 Zealots. I don't think Saber can do this. Saber will lose that Sunken, and he'll lose the other one very soon. He will lose his second expansion, and this is so dangerous. He has his lurkers out, but will he get his lurkers up in time? He has 1 lurker, 1 Hydralisk. He's running away his drone so that he doesn't lose all of them. He's doing a pretty good job of doing that. Now he is getting a Spire at his mineral only, is he? That's
not so bad, but I felt like he brought too many lurkers home.
actually kind of strange. Look at this though, Saber is forced to build Sunkens at so many different locations. His economy is suffering because of that, because he did go for the mineral only over there so that it's hard. Oh my god!
Teaches you to SimCity, Savior from 2006. New move.
Zealots just run past. These are manlots, ladies and gentlemen.
These aren't manlots, these are just Zealots.
Zealots are going straight for the spawning pool. Oh my gosh, Saber is in trouble. He needs to get his lurkers out right now. And Burrow, he's gonna lose his spawning pool. That is not good in a game like this. Nalra really did surprise.
It's not the worst. If he still has his econ up, he can rebuild his spawning pool.
Savior, I think. Or Savior just didn't expect the timing on this Zealot push with 5 Zealots. And still more Zealots are coming in. Wow, Nalra will be able to just do so much damage. And now he's transitioning into getting observers for his lurkers. And I don't know if Savior can just recover at this point. He didn't lose that much. He lost a spawning pool, but he...
Yeah, do you like how it's yellow versus orange? We can't tell what's going on at all.
does have Mutalisks right now, which are a decent counter to Zealots, because Zealots can't shoot air no matter how hard they try. So those Mutalisks will...
That was my attempt at a joke.
...be useful for a while until Templar come out, and that's why this build is kind of safe.
The fuck? This is so weird. Like, why did Nalra build those 2 gateways up there and then build a cannon there? This is so
against most other
I don't
builds,
know,
because
this is
you can
different.
get Templar Archives, you can get Storm, you can get Archons to deal with Mutalisks, and those Zealots are seeing everything. They know that the tech switch has happened. So really, Nalra is in pretty good shape right now. He's done some damage. I think he should have gone for the drones, actually, because he only went for the spawning pool. I don't know how good of an idea that was, because Savior wasn't going for crazy Zerglings at that point. It does stunt Savior's tech tree a little bit, but not that much. He should have taken down something else, maybe Hydroden, maybe Spire.
So I'm a little bit confused here, because I'm trying to evaluate whether Savior is, like, I'm trying to see who's ahead and by how much. And I think Savior is behind, but not by that much. He lost his spawning pool. He may have lost a couple of drones, but they traded armies. Savior has Lurker Tech, has Mutatech along the way. Protoss is still on 2 base. So, I don't know. This doesn't seem like that bad of a situation, but, I mean, I could be wrong. Hello, So-So-Yo-Ku. When was this game played? 2006.
Sorry, that's right there. 2 more hatcheries coming for Savior, and we'll have to see. He's probably transitioning into a 5-hatch Hydra build now that he got a couple of lurkers to deal with Zealots. Those lurkers were kind of mispositioned though, so that wasn't as good on Savior.
So this map is starting to make more sense to me. I'm not familiar with the map, but Rush Hour 3 being so open in the natural results in like kind of crazy games like this. You would never see this modern day because map makers don't do that anymore. I wonder who it favors. 읽을 줄 아네? 읽을 줄 아네? 몰라.
Here's part. There are, nice Mutalisk harass at this expansion though, but there are Archons, and I don't know if this one lurker,
is there a robotics out at all?
That one lurker has so little health. Will it go down? It needs to burrow right now. Burrow, Mr. Lurker.
No, it's fine. Mr. Lurker is fine. I'm just milking the moment. I don't have anything to say except for color.
And it looks like Saber will be okay, but Server is out, so I don't know if he'll be able to force this Nexus to go down. Those Archons are heading straight for Saber's base, though, so we'll have to see
If Savior holds, he's super ahead.
if he's prepared, and it doesn't look like he's prepared. He has no sunken colonies. He just doesn't have the economy, I think, at this point to build sunken colonies, and this might have been a mistake on Savior's part. His tactics in general. He went for that expansion instead of protecting his own, and this is going to be kind of dangerous right now. He doesn't have enough. Those Archons
Don't lose
have
your
a
drones!
field day with the drones. So much splash damage will go down on those drones if he just attacks it. Oh, look. Oh, how many drones will go down? But no drones go down. Wow. Have an Archon to get at least one drone kill, but no, it's going straight for the hatchery. That's also a very good idea. And this expansion looks like it's going to go down. Also, the Spire will go down, so that'll be dangerous for Savior too, especially if he wants to get Mutas to...
I feel like this should not have been too troublesome to deal with. It's just like 3 Archons and a bunch of Zealots, but SimCity is non-existent.
Snipe Templar, and wow, alright, those Mutas just completely died.
I think he
to those
loses
Archons.
here.
Mutas are not a
The
good
fuck?
idea against Archons. Savior needed Hydras, and he has Hydras, but he GG!
GG!
Wow, good play by Nalra. By the way, Savior is, I believe his weakest matchup is against Protoss, or maybe that's not true.
I don't think that's true. I think he's quite good in CVP. Wow. 마제는 나쁜 놈. 미국 사람도 압니다. We know that Savior is a bad guy. I'm just watching past stuff. We're not trying to start anything here. The scandal is actually a pretty important part of esports history, I would say. We'll go and set the contextual Savior match fixing scandal. It's got its own Wikipedia article, so you guys know. I think he's actually on Afrika now, but he's kind of excommunicated from the whole StarCraft scene. During 2007 and 2008, he wasn't doing so well. He had been very dominant, and he started to slump. And then, at a certain point, Ma Jae-in was implicated in a cheating scandal involving several Korean pro gamers, illegal betting websites, and allegations of games being deliberately lost. So match fixing. I think he may have went to prison for it. He was banned for life from professional competition. I don't know about prison. I guess he's competing in Shanghai. Yeah, and it kind of just, that was one of the nails in the coffin for Korean StarCraft. So that's why it was so disappointing, because Korean StarCraft is huge, and Blizzard did try to almost kill it with StarCraft 2. But this was also a huge blow to StarCraft, because the legitimacy of StarCraft was questioned. Sponsors pulled out. Fans were betrayed. So this whole thing needs a big asterisk. As a moment in history. 맞은 쓰레기. 압니다. 우리는 압니다. He gets invited to Chinese events, I see. If he was a CS pro, he would be playing Valorant right now. That's interesting. Wow, when that thread started, Reckroll went undercover into the criminal StarCraft underworld to confirm it. Wild stuff. Right now, they also have another scandal with, like, CoinGate. I think, like, Flash advertised some coins, and he had a stake in it. So, Flash, Bisu, Lee Young-ho, Kim Tae-kyung, both of them are kind of on the down and outs. But yeah, I think, guys, that's kind of pretty much it for for today's StarCraft stream. I had a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed too. Let's see some highlights. We got B rank. We went over Commentator Idol and we didn't die. And we learned some things too. What else did we do? And now we're about to watch